guess if you're ready, let's do it.
Going live. Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to the Monday Show 69. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, you know who else loves 69?
Oh,
My mom!
she does, and it's funny because somebody called me out the other day. They said, I didn't hear my mom on the last show. I just heard a come on, man. And I heard a how dare you, but no, my mom. And so I'm glad we got it in there right off the bat.
No, my mom. How
Yeah.
dare you?
I know. How dare
How
you?
dare you?
You know, we were wondering why we had more thumbs down than we normally do, and we even lost a couple of subscribers. Maybe that was it. Maybe people were offended that there was no my mom.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got to look for offensive things to be offended about these days. So actually, there's a lot, but you just have to take it. But yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe they were offended, no, my mom. And so we wanted to get it out there right off the bat. And we expect 2 subs to come right back.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome, friends, to the Monday Show. Glad to be back. Right? I mean, as fun as it was yesterday to kind of take a look at the news, the state of VR in January 2021. I mean, the Monday Show is where it's at. This is the one that's fun to do, where we talk about what we've been playing. We've been playing some cool stuff, and then we discuss various topics. And today's topic's really cool because we're kicking off our 2021 Beat It competition. And it's not as simple as just beat the games and you win. We've got some nice caveats worked into the rules to keep it competitive all year long. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, you really came up with some good stuff there. Like I was looking at the rules and I was like, man, this is good. It's good that we're back on Monday because I saw Onakazi say as we were setting up that he had forgotten the Monday show. And I was like, oh God, man, you take a couple weeks off. People forgot the show is on. Don't forget. And also, I will take this week to tell you to subscribe. This will be part of that New Year's resolution. Subscribe. We got to make up for those 2 people that bailed. And you know what? I've been thinking about it. We're curating our subscribers. It's like we're fluffing out those extras and we're building a richer community for it. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, every now and then we have to throw out some borderline statements out there just to see who's cool and who's not.
Yeah.
And there's an ebb and a flow to it. So not the first time. I guess we've said something that's upset somebody. The only weird thing about it is this time, I thought we were pretty tame on the last one, mild. So who knows? Maybe it was just a couple of giveaway subs dropping off. That tends to happen after a big giveaway anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna be happy with everybody that's here. And speaking of everybody that's here, I see Gamer Chick and Onakazi right off the bat. There's 2 staples right there, right?
Yeah, man. Onakazi, Gamer Chick, Mash Daddy, Diz the Game Cat, Slay Blaze. Hey, how's it going, Slay Blaze? Matty Matt, 2323. A bunch of regulars here. Glad that you turned out. Glad you're showing up for the Monday show. We got a good one tonight, or at least I feel like it's pretty good.
I do too, actually. It was fun. It was fun both checking out both of the games that we checked out, or I guess both of the things that we checked out. Not one of them's not a game. But yeah, it was fun.
Well, let's get right into it then. Without further ado, pretty much since I've been in PCVR, various people have been trying to tell me that I need to play the Doom 3 mod for PCVR. People whose opinions I respect. So, of course, I went and picked it up, installed the game on my PC, and as is often the case, I never played it. It's sit there installed this whole time, and that was a mod to the BFG version of Doom 3, which is a much newer, updated version. But this past week, or maybe the week before, Dr. Beef released a mod which allows you to play the original Doom 3 on the standalone Oculus Quest 2, or I guess even the regular Oculus Quest as well. And for whatever reason, as is often the case, when something releases in standalone, my curiosity is piqued. I want to see what the device is capable of. So immediately I went and bought another copy of Doom, installed the thing on my Oculus Quest 2, and started playing it, immediately. And I got to say, Roots, my initial intention was just to go in and check it out, maybe 30 or 45 minutes. But it hooked me. Like I played for 2 hours the first time I jumped into it. And then I went back into it the very next day. Again, another 2 to 3 hours in the game. Having a blast playing this game. And I'm glad I picked it up.
Yeah, so it's funny. I did buy BFG and I did play it back in the day, and I was kind of impressed with it. And so I wanted to see, just like you. I was curious. I wanted to see how good this one was, but I was a little apprehensive because it was the BFG. You're going down from the PC version down to the Quest 2, power wise. But I'll tell you what, man, I was so impressed with the way that this thing looked. Not only like everything that we're seeing here, but man, the action, dude. Like the first time one of those monsters jumped out and threw that skull thing at me, I couldn't believe how good that looked. I was like, oh my God. And I know people are obsessing, and I even thought about it, about getting like the HD textures. There's like, I guess you can do mods with this. They say some of them can break it, whatever. I decided I'm not going to do any of that because, I was talking to Mash Daddy, and I guess he turned his up to 72 hertz. First thing Wes told me is I played it on 60 and it runs great. You don't need to really do anything. So I left it at 60. I didn't touch it. Mash was telling me a couple things that clipped through a couple things, or he was asking me if I was having any issues. I didn't have any issues whatsoever. And I don't know. What is it? How can I play this on 60 frames and be fine, Wes? What is happening? What kind of magic is this kind of going on?
I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of I don't know, like maybe it's emulating like a 90 frames deal. I don't know if it's running at a a straight 60. I know most PlayStation VR games run at 60 frames, but they duplicate frames to get it up to 90.
Mm.
Maybe there's something like that going on here. But yeah, it's smooth, no sickness whatsoever. Really, the only technical issue I had with it, outside of a couple of times where I had some frame drops. I mean, there was maybe 2 or 3 scenes that I've been in so far where it's got a little jittery for maybe 5 seconds and then cleared up. Besides that, the only issue I had was the first time into the game, it crashed. Like as soon as I went, the little opening cinema thing happened and I started moving, the game crashed immediately.
Mm.
But I went straight back into it, and I haven't had any problems with it since. So I don't know, man. It's a subject of much debate. How many frames per second do you really need to have a comfortable experience in VR? And I think that that's an individual thing, not only on the individual player to player basis, but an individual game to game basis. I think it's different from game to game what you need to be comfortable, as much as it is from player to player.
I agree. I think, because I don't get motion sick, and so I'm running at 60. It's fine. But I couldn't believe how good it looked, how good it played, how inept I am wandering around these halls looking for what I'm supposed to do. In the beginning, I was like, I didn't even know what I was doing. I mean, I did, but I didn't. I know I was trying to find PDAs, but it was like I kept going in circles, and I was like, man, this game is broke. And then I thought, no, Roots, you're broke. You need to get your head out of your butt and figure it out. And I did, and I finally got to some action, and this game is really good. And it was almost made my list for games that I wanted to play. I guess I could have played the BFG version. I could have done the same thing on the list. I just didn't want to do anything that's on my list that's Quest related, because that's harder to stream. But this was, I really was really impressed. You know what's cool about this is it's $5 on Steam, right? And it not open your eyes? Just one more reason. Why can't any person that's a developer do this for any game and you're requiring the game's files. You still got to buy the game, so the developer doesn't give a shit. Sure, you know,
Right.
how many people are going to buy this game to now play it on the Quest 2, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It really, what you're saying there holds true in so many different scenarios. When I see what uh, people like Dr. Beef are capable of, and then the Vortex guy, the Helix Vision guy, all of these different people that mod flat games into VR, they're all doing it out of love for the game, right? They're not profiting on it. Of course, you can donate to these people, and I highly suggest that you do. If you download this and you really enjoy it, there's a donate button on the mod homepage. Please donate to the guy's PayPal. But that's not what they're doing it for. They're kind of like us with this channel. We're doing it out of the love for the game. And when you see what these motivated single individuals are capable of, it really makes you wonder what a well-funded, gaming studio would be capable of if they would just commit to bringing in some of these classics into VR. Um, I really like the game. It's not your typical Doom game either. It's not like the old school boomer shooter Doom game. It's kind of a cool hybrid in between a modern game and the old school shooter. And I think that's why I'm enjoying it so much. It's slow enough for me to enjoy the story, but fast paced enough to keep me hooked with the action.
well, how cool is that PDA? Like when you opening it up, like the first time I got a video disc and watched it, and it's a video and it's not anything magical, but it's like, it's for me, it was like how they brought it into VR and made it a VR thing, and it's on your PDA, and it's taking that same thing that I'm sure was in the game to begin with, but it's making it easier to render, and it's putting it on this small little thing on your PDA, and I just thought it was super cool, and I love that thing, Wes. It's helped me get into stuff. It helps me open doors. Although there's a lot of locked doors in here, and I feel like I don't know. I want to get through them all. So hopefully I'll be able to do it. Now, let me ask you this about the body. Did you turn your body off? Because I played for a little bit with my body, and I'd turn and it'd be all weird, and I'd be looking through my body, and I was like, "Oh, there's options for hands only." Fuck yeah, body gone. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah, the inverse kinematics is actually pretty well done in this game. But like you said, you end up putting yourself in a lot of weird positions that contort your in-game body. So I just turned it off. I assume that it probably takes up at least some small portion of system resources. So I just opted not to use it. But what you're saying with the PDA, I absolutely agree with. And I always give bonus points to these developers when they take a flat game, bring it into VR, but not just, porting it in so that you're in the game, but also implementing VR controls with it. This to me, it seems like it should be very difficult to do, right? This game wasn't designed to be a VR game, but you're letting me interface and grab things in the world, interact with the PDA with my actual hands. I mean, that's unheard of. I don't understand how these guys are so capable of doing it. And again, it's not necessary. For me, I would have been happy with it just being a gamepad game. But the fact that I've got in-game hands and can interact with the world really, ratchets up the level of immersion. And, it's really commendable on the part of the developer who, again, is not doing this for profit.
Absolutely. And it gets those nopers involved as well. Like the Gerillos out there that are like, "Ooh, no hand presence. I'm out, bro." Or maybe it's not Gerillo, because I know he'll use hand and keyboard, so mouse and keyboard. So he's probably not as much of a purist in that respect. But no, I think this game had so many options. I was pleasantly happy. I mean, I could not only put on smooth turn, but I could like speed up my run. Like I cranked that speed up, and I'm zipping around here like it's nobody's business. I'm running from fucking demons, dude. Like I don't want to be walking slow away from them. I want to run from those suckers. But no, I can see totally since you're such a Doom fan, I can see why 2 hours could go by in a second, because this just the immersion level was amazing, and the fact that it's free if you own it already, or $5 if you want to get it on Steam. It's amazing. It's really easy to do, right?
Yeah. It's literally copy and paste simple to do if you're set up on side quests because you do have to install the mod before the game, and the mod comes from side quest. But literally, you just download it, install it. You try to run it once without having the game on there, just to set up the file system, and then you copy and paste your Steam files over onto your quest, and you're done. It's literally that easy. Um, Speaking of Drillo says that this is his favorite Doom game is Doom
Ooh,
3.
oh,
Um,
cool.
I found that interesting because I've had multiple people telling me, over the years as they've tried to talk me into trying the BFG version, that this is the best Doom in VR, that it's better than Doom VFR. Um, I wouldn't go that far, Roots. I got to say the built from the ground up, uh, Doom VFR experience to me from a gameplay standpoint was much better. I mean, graphically, gameplay, it was better on every level, in my opinion. Now, this is a more complete and nuanced game. Obviously, there's a lot more content here. There's a lot more going on with the story, and I appreciate all those things. But at the end of the day, I really prefer the polish
Mm.
of Doom VFR over over this older game.
What have you tried Doom 3 BFG modded with the high def textures and your G2?
That might make a difference. And I probably should do that actually.
I think that would be, I would be curious just to see because it did, I mean, the what you're saying, everything that you said about Doom VFR is true. Like I didn't think I was gonna enjoy it. And the way that it, especially near the end, it's so fast paced and crazy, and everything is just looks so good, right? Aside from the jutting arm out of your chest, which never really bothered me. But yeah, no, I definitely think you should try that. I think this game is, I'm kind of curious to see how far I'll get into it. Now, one thing that I am curious about, because I saw on Reddit, somebody said that there was also updates for the Half-Life mod from the same team and something else. And I thought, oh God,
Yeah,
I remember something about that Half-Life. I never went into it. Is that something maybe we're missing out on as well?
yeah. He did. That was fairly recent. He did a Half Life mod onto the Oculus Quest, and I think he may even be responsible for the Return to Castle Wolfenstein as well.
Mm, wow. Somebody needs to
Yeah.
hire this guy and make this his full-time job. It's coming to these quests, man. Like I think it's cool that we're starting to see some games maybe that aren't going to be on the PC VR. You're going to have the Quest. This is one of them, this particular iteration. And you say, okay, great. I can play Doom BFG. Or is it BFG? But
Yeah,
yeah, I
it's a
can play,
BFG.
Doom on PC VR, and that's great. But I don't think that they've got some of the other mods, right? Do they have a Half-Life one that works as well as this one? Um,
I think so. I think they
okay.
actually do. So,
Yeah. Well, maybe you
uh,
can play them all.
anyway, there's something to be said though for, you know, accessibility and ease of use here. It's not like there's nothing to it. Literally, you can be anywhere. Grab your headset and put it on.
Mm,
You don't need any space. You can sit down and play this game in a corner somewhere. So you don't have to be in your room near your computer. At any point in time that you want to jump into the world of Doom 3, you can. And there's something to be said for that. Now, with that said, I do want to experience the BFG with all of the bells and whistles enabled because, like Jarillo says here, um, we love Doom VFR, right? In spite of what most people think about it. But it's Doom 3 is longer and it has more story, which is, you know, I, these are things I appreciate in games. I like story driven games. It really is a lot of what I liked about Doom VFR was visual. So if the BFG version looks a lot more like a modern game, I could see myself, really enjoying it a lot more. Maybe I should do a comparison video to compare the two
yeah.
versions.
That's a good idea. I'm looking at this and it reminds me though, everything we're saying about wanting the better version sounds like we're downplaying this version, and I absolutely am not. It was phenomenal for me. It was there was some moments where like when that just showed where the you kind of showed like the demonic stuff coming out, and it was like colorful, and it really looks amazing. It really looks good. It looks outdated as far as that graphics, but I would submit that like I always say, maybe you're at the Doom 3 arcade game and you just got sucked into it, and you're like now looking like you're in this fucking arcade game. That's how I feel. It's like, oh my god, I'm in this world. And yeah, it's like you're in the old antiquated graphics world, I guess. I don't know, but it looks really good.
So did you spend any time playing the Turkey Puncher 3?
I did. I actually punched the crap out of that turkey for a while, and then I realized that there was not much to it. I kind of feel like it was the idiocracy movie of the butt farting. You know, that's the future. Is just you're just punching a turkey as your arcade game. But it was cool that that was in there because I kind of wanted to go over there and see if I could play the game, and I absolutely was able to. So
Yeah, I sit there for like 5 minutes punching that thing. Like I scored 10,000 on the on the score thing there just to see. I thought maybe there would be I don't know, an achievement or something given for it, so I just kept going with it.
if it was made today, absolutely. And Drullo made a good point about Doom 3. He said it was made back with the Carmack days, so there was probably, and they were messing with VR, so that's one of the reasons why, like certain games are made a little bit better towards VR. Like Dying Light is one of them as well. They had like a secret code in there for Oculus, and when they were messing with certain developers. So
Drillo says, "Can you play Resurrection of Evil DLC on the Quest 2? I played through all of that on PCVR 2, and the double barrel shotgun was amazing in VR." They're working on that. That's going to come in an upcoming update. It's not playable right now,
oh god.
nor is the multiplayer. But these are both things that we should be seeing in future updates.
I think we're getting to the point, Wes, where these developers are starting to really figure out how to bring these games into VR overall, and it's becoming easier. And I think we're just going to see more and more of these. Look how many we've seen in the last 6 months, compared to good ones, compared to what we saw in the last few years. So I think it's a good time to be in virtual reality because as much as I like to play a lot of new games, I want to go back and play some games like this, Doom 3, that I never played through for my first time in VR.
This goes back to what we were talking about the other day. If we could just play the flat games, even in on a immersive screen 3D, like I mean, it really takes a lot of your time away from native VR games because these games are just so good. They're long, rich experiences that are still uncommon in the VR catalog right now.
Well, and then most of them have what a lot of the VR games and don't have, which is the game loop. These are this was Carmack. You know what I mean? Like they knew what they're doing when they're building these games. So it's like the gameplay makes you want to keep playing. And before long, 2 hours has gone by. You thought you were gonna just jump in and check it out real quick for the show. And I bet you've put in more than 2 hours already, right?
Yeah, I've played it for 4 or 5 hours at least.
Which is
Um,
you've played this game, dude. You've probably beat it, right? Back in the day. If not, you probably
No,
played a
no,
shitload out of
no.
it, no?
I honestly wasn't into gaming a whole lot at the time that this came out. I do remember it coming out, and I really wasn't all that hype for it because it didn't look like Doom to me. It looked like some other game
Hmm.
because it's way more science fiction. It looks more like an Alien game than a Doom game. But as you get deeper into it, I'm starting to find out it turns into a Doom game, right? Like it doesn't start as a typical Doom game, but the further you get into it, really the crazier things get, and the more Doom like it becomes.
How cool is it that this laboratory or whatever kind of seems like CERN a little bit of what they're doing, right? And
Right.
if anybody that knows anything about, that actual real collider and what some of these scientists have said that has happened there and things that they've seen, and they've even described like possession, weird stuff, Wes, and I won't go into it because that's not what the show is. But I thought that was really cool as I was going into this scenario, and they were talking about what the machines, and you saw that the scientists like the devil's real, and I was like, man, this is getting good. This story is getting really good, and creepy as hell. Those or I guess whatever they are, zombies or whatever. Um, there's some creepy stuff out there, and I haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah, that was a good line. That the devil's real. I built his cage. I
Yeah,
love
dude,
it.
that was an awesome line, right? Yeah, and then he let him out
Anyway,
apparently.
this very much quickly became my game of the week. It's got most of my playtime this week has gone into this one. And I mean, how crazy is it, dude? I paid like $2 for this on Instant Gaming, and it's a full fledged VR experience, and I can't say enough good things about it. Kudos to Dr. Beef. Highly recommend it to anyone out there who has a Oculus Quest and enjoys this type of game. Super cheap, super fun. Kudos.
Yeah, it's even cheap for Steam Share, Family Share works with it, so it's even cheaper for some people.
Right, right. Yeah, whatever works, bro.
Yeah, it was cool.
Anyways, let's move on and talk about the other thing we checked out this week, and really it was kind of on the fly because who was it that asked us about it yesterday? Was it Kiros that asked us?
Yeah, I think Andrew Quiros asked us what we thought about Baba Yaga, and it was like, well, shit, man, we got to check it out. That's why I love the live show. Is sometimes the things are formulated right in front of us, right here on the show, and that was one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And something we were meaning to check out anyway. It just wasn't at the top of my priority list, but I'm kind of glad that I did because while there are a lot of these, animated experiences in, the VR catalog, there aren't very many that have this kind of length, this kind of interactivity, and this kind of quality. As many of you already know, as we've reported on our news show many times, all-star cast here. We've got Jennifer Hudson, we've got Kate Winslet, Glenn Close, and I'm leaving one out here, Daisy Ridley, all cast in this thing. And I really enjoyed my time in it. Visually typical of this type of experience, really visually reminded me a lot of Wolves in the Wall.
Yeah, but I said okay. It was definitely very visually similar. Now I was going to ask you, and I don't know if it seemed like the animation was a little bit different. Like when they moved, I don't. I thought it was like my headset was something was wrong, like it was jittery or something, and then but everything else was fine, like nothing else. So it was not performance, and then I realized it's just a different animation style. I'm assuming you noticed the same thing, or maybe you didn't. I don't know.
I absolutely noticed it. It looked choppy. It looked like it was running at a low frame rate. It's what it looked like. The animation wasn't smooth in it.
Okay.
With that said, the visuals were beautiful, and it just seemed like it was with the characters. Like that's what made me think that what you're saying here is true. Is that it's just an animation style because it wasn't the case for like the environments and the secondary things that were moving, and all that was smooth, but the characters themselves, the movement looked choppy, didn't it?
Yeah, it was just the characters. It was so weird to me at first, that I reset my headset. I was like, okay, maybe something's weird. Let me restart this. Thank God they let me start through a different scene because I didn't want to have to watch the beginning couple scenes again, and it was still the same. But that being said, like I said, I think it's just an art style type of thing. But it was pretty cool. I like the fact that it's got when I finished it, it it was difficult for me to make the choice for one, and then once I did it, it gave me, oh well, hey, what if you'd made a different choice? And then I was almost reluctant to do it because I didn't want to ruin my ending, Wes. I got the ending I wanted. It's good, and but I did do them all just because obviously I want to see what everything is.
Yeah, so this is an interactive story, and your choices do impact the ending of it. There are three separate endings, and the cool thing about it is, um, at the end of it, if you want to check out the what would have happened had you made other choices, you don't have to watch the entire thing again. It lets you go back and check out the other endings as well, which they're all fairly similar, but some very striking differences between them. So I did
Perspective.
appreciate that. It was like Bandersnatch, right?
Yeah, it was perspective. It was like, and it's true to life in that respect. Like it doesn't matter what story you're telling. Like everybody's got their perspective. Everybody's got their part to play. And just because, one person's perspective is what it is, you kind of want to know what the other perspective is. And then we're being very vague for a specific reason, because it's, a 27-minute experience. and I don't want to ruin it for anybody as far as what the different things are. But each one of them is different, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, there was you know, the animation was okay. The story was really good, and the voice acting was phenomenal. What I really enjoyed the most about it, though, was the forest, the environments, the way that you know, you're in this kind of living, breathing set that's a character. Literally, Jennifer Hudson is the forest. The forest is a character in it. That was really the coolest part of this to me. Not only, you know, the the uh the character, but the visual style of it I thought was very striking. The way they played with lighting and color and shapes, it was really cool. It was so cool, in fact, that you know I stood up for it. Like I started this thing sitting down, as you know I do for most games. I tried it seated, but the environment was so cool and all around me. Very quickly into this thing, maybe 5 minutes into it, I said, you know what, I'm going to stand up for this because I don't think I'm going to enjoy it quite as much sitting down.
No, I don't blame you. I kind of, except for I did the opposite. I stood up right from the beginning because I knew better. Only because I saw somebody mention in a comment somewhere that you should stand for it because that's exactly what you just said. So I went in with it. But Onakazi says that he thought the hand tracking was great. And Drilla says, what happens at 1K? I'm assuming you're thinking about the channel. Well, balloons are going to fall from the sky, and then there's going to be fucking jets flying all over the place. Roots is going to do a backflip. I don't know. I don't know what happens. I guess YouTube pushes us. We're allowed to monetize. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
But
we're allowed to monetize. We become partners with Google, and Google begins to put us in people's recommended feeds.
ooh,
And you know, besides that, it's a kind of an indicator to a lot of developers and businesses out there that we're a legit channel. A lot of these people won't even talk to you if you don't have that 1K number. So I can already tell a difference, Roots, even being at 950 versus 850. I'm getting a lot more people following me on Twitter. I'm
ooh.
getting offers in the email to like review different products and things that we weren't getting before. So as we approach the 1K mark, not only is it going to allow us to monetize, allow people to be able to donate, we're getting a lot more respect from the industry as a whole.
Yeah, Spry Guy says he doesn't care about the balloons or the jets. He just wants to see me do a backflip. I want to see it too, because if it happens and I land it, then somehow, some way, I don't know what happened. So,
Yeah, Anthony says that he thinks we get more keys if we have 1K. You know, we actually do pretty good with the keys. You know, I have to work at it. I do have to request them, but this goes back to what I was just saying. Since we've gotten up to 950, I'm getting more people seeking us out as opposed to us seeking out the keys.
mm,
I've noticed that this week, in fact. Um, Synth Riders, you know, a game that we've talked about a couple of times that we've never tried. The Synth Riders team asked us, do we want to check out their new DLC? And we said, you know what? Absolutely. So that'll be a video upcoming probably this week. If not this week, it'll be a topic on next week's Monday show.
yeah. Radio Runt says Synth Riders is better than Beat Saber. He keeps drumming that down in my head, and so we're gonna find out, and we're gonna find out multiplayer style, right? That's cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've actually got a couple of different multiplayer things that we're going to have to jump into this week.
Derail is thinking about a different show. I don't know what's going through his head. He said he wants us. Well, he said Roots will dance with a banana hammock on. I don't think anybody wants to see that except for Ecto Helix's mother-in-law, but our girlfriend's mom or something. That's about it.
Yeah, Derail, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Oh, I think How Dare You will probably work there too, right?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah. There went two more.
Yep. Right, right. Anyway, $6 exclusive to Oculus Quest. Roots, I'm going to be interested if this does come to PCVR to see if the choppy animation does seem to go away. Right now, I think you're right. I think it is just an animation style on their part. It probably done for performance reasons. It probably is a little less demanding. And again, this is a Quest exclusive at this point, so they may have had to take that into consideration because again, we've got this PS4 Pro situation going on right now, where everything that comes with Quest 2 has to run on Quest 1. So maybe that has something to do with it. Only time will tell. But I'm happy with the purchase at $6. It's something that I'm going to be able to put my entire family in. I think that everyone's going to enjoy it, and I enjoyed it myself.
Yeah, it's close to 50 cents a minute. It's not too bad. But I'll tell you what, at $6, and I'm the same way. I am hoping it is a performance thing because I want to watch it. If it does come to PCVR, I want to watch it without the art style, if that's what it is, because it was a little bit different or weird compared to like Wolves in the Wall, where Wolves in the Wall just completely drew me in. I think that was the little bit that kept me from getting 100% drawn in, was that little bit of weirdness. But like we've said, it was only when they were moving. Like if they were doing stuff, standing still, and everything else was the trees were moving and doing other stuff, it was fine. It was just those characters, right? So,
Yeah, the trees were fine. Like I even like the that aggressive like fly trap plant that you meet as
mm,
soon as you go into the forest. I think that was even fine if I remember correctly. It was just like the human characters that this applied to them.
yeah, it's probably art style. But either way, $6, definitely worth if you like these kind of experiences. It's
How's it
pretty cool.
stack up to other experiences like Gloomy Eyes and Wolves in the Wall?
I thought Wolves in the Wall to me is one of the best ones I've ever done and or experienced, and that was free, at least for me. I would say, and I can't remember too much about Gloomy Eyes. It was pretty good, right? Um,
Yeah, I enjoyed Gloomy Eyes. I enjoyed a lot of these, and Anthony in the chat says, "What's my favorite? My number one experience in VR that would be similar to Baba Yaga." Um, it just depends on what facet you're talking about. Art wise, I would say Wolves in the Wall is very similar to it. But as far as like the storytelling, um, it reminded me somewhat of the Crow, the one with John Legend.
that was one of the
Uh,
ones that suggested right at the end. They've got you can do more things, and there was like five different things, bonfire. So that was kind of cool too. Is it was like suggested these ones? I guess I own Crow. Is that one you have to buy or no? Is that free? Can't remember.
um,
I can't.
yeah, well, the Crow is free.
Okay.
The other thing that the story reminded me of, just in the whole journey aspect of it, it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Great Sea, which is a paid experience, but I think it's available on Viport, or at least it used to be. Um, but if I had to compare it to something, I would probably say the Crow is the most like this. But if you're asking me what my favorite interactive animated experience is, I would say it's probably Wolves in the Wall.
Do you did you feel a very much emotion like at all? Like there was a couple moments where I actually felt a little
I
like
felt, the most emotion I felt with it, honestly, was when I chose the other endings, the ones that I didn't choose first,
hmm.
because I did the right thing, or what I felt like my conscience would tell me to do on the first playthrough. But like the second playthrough, I kind of did the selfish thing, right? And that didn't feel good.
Mm. I know which one you thought about the right thing. It's like how could you not? Like the position you're in, the role that you're in. You have an
Your sister,
obligation.
bro.
Yeah, your sister. But yeah, it was definitely I that was one of the things that's unique about this over all those other ones we had. Just the fact that there's different perspectives to see it from. So you can kind of feel that perspective or see where it came, what would have happened if I did this instead. I thought that was definitely unique and pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think I really enjoyed the Baba Yaga character, like the scenes where you interact with the witch directly are
Mm,
probably the best scenes in the whole thing, because I mean she uses her magic to try to intimidate you,
mm.
and it's impressive. I got to admit, it's impressive.
Yeah. Well, just pull back the curtain, bro. See what happens.
Anyway, I think we both recommend this for $6. It's definitely worth it. My biggest beef with most of these types of experiences, there's a lot of good ones out there, but normally they're very short. And I felt like this one was a good length. Um, you know who loves it when it's a good length, Roots?
My mom!
Oh, she's greedy.
But this was a good length. I probably would have enjoyed it being a little bit longer. You know who else? Never mind. I probably would have liked it if had it been a little bit longer. But I can't complain. We're 20-25 minutes for $6. It's a fair deal.
They say 27 minutes. So I say close to 50 cents a minute. It's like 52, 53 cents.
It's like
Or $7
it's like
actually.
25 or 30
Is
cents a
it?
minute,
Okay.
something like
Oh,
that.
is it? Okay. I'm thinking
Yeah,
the bad math. I'm fuzzy math.
fuzzy math, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. I think we've said enough about this. I mean, it's a 25-minute experience. We're not going to talk 30 on it without spoiling it. So let's move on to the Beat It Challenge, Roots. And, on the 2020 show, we both put forward our kind of shared resolution that we want to finish some games this year. So, that started me immediately thinking, because, everything we play, we talk about on the show pretty much. And I was trying to think of a way that we could, spend days, weeks, months on, the same game and not only derive content from it, but keep it fresh. Also wanted to keep us motivated because, when you're in our position, and you have all these different games and you can play anything, a lot of the times you end up playing nothing because you just can't choose. There's just so much that you want to get into. You just end up playing a couple rounds of Headmaster and going to bed. But so I started thinking of how could I uh, come up with a way not only to drive content for the channel, but also motivate us to finish games. And thus the Beat It Challenge
Mhm.
was born. So I'm going to go over here what this challenge is. It's a challenge, it's a competition between Roots and I. And it's going to take place all year long. And you're going to get content from it across all of our channels, meaning Virtual Strangers, meaning Lethal Weasel VR, meaning Roots' Twitch channel. You're going to get tons of gameplay because every minute of it's going to be documented. And if you haven't already, be sure to scroll down to the description and subscribe to those other channels because business is getting ready to pick up. Roots, I'm excited. I think this is going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited too because, like you said, even for my Twitch channel, they're used to Pop One pretty much and a couple other games. Now they're going to get a whole slew of different games that I'm going to be trying to go through, and a lot of them I picked for a reason because I'm streaming, and one of my favorite things to do, Wes, when I'm streaming is to play with my viewers, and so there a lot of them are games that I can play, or some of them you have to play with other people, and there's no other way to play the game, and so I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I found that interesting when I looked at the games that you chose. That there's at least two or three games on there that I know that I'm going to play an active role in helping you finish. So, like, I'm literally you're putting me in the position to work against myself.
Well, and I thought about putting some of the other games that we have, like some games that we literally we're gonna be doing for sure because of the money show and stuff. And I thought, look at those piranhas, man, how crazy, right? But yeah, so I'm excited because I don't finish very many games. I've finished a couple more than VR 365, but I'm at the point now where I just want to finish. I want my list really realistically is all they're all games that I want to play that I want to finish, and like you always say, it's an excuse now for me to play them. I have an excuse and I have to for the show. So
Well, I've got this laundry list of my favorite games that I've played 75 to 80% of and never finished it. So this is going to allow me not only to finish it, but as you'll see in a moment as we go over the rules, to play the whole game and play it start to finish. So I get the full the full experience. But anyway, we'll talk about which games we chose to start with in a minute. First, let's go over the rules. I put together a fairly elaborate rule set here. So it's not just going to be who beats the most games wins. I put together a set of rules here that will allow for strategies to be had, not only in what games you play, but what games you pick to put on your list, how you pick them to put them on there. And I've done this in such a way that even if one of us gets a humongous lead at any point during the year, the person who's trailing is always going to have the ability to catch up based on strategic choices in what they're playing. So I put a lot of thought into this. I think it's going to be a good game. And maybe, if it does well this year and it works out the way I think it's going to work, maybe as we grow and in future years, we can invite other content creators into the challenge with us.
Yeah, or a couple of higher up in the strangers world, the fanatics, the patrons, right? Maybe.
Right. Anyway, what we thought about, I thought about doing that this year and maybe having a prize for the one that won. But at the end of the day, I had such a time keeping up with the giveaway from the 2020 show. I mean, trying to officiate a contest over the span of a year. No thanks. We'll figure something out to do next year if this goes the way I think it's going to go.
Yeah, sounds good.
We'll figure out how to get other people involved. But anyway, I'm going to run down the list here, rule by rule, and explain exactly what it means, so that maybe you guys get a picture of how this game could possibly play out. All right, so the Beat It Challenge is a VR game competition between Wes and Ruuts, which will span the entire calendar year of 2021. The host with the most points at the end of December 20th, 2021, will be declared the winner. Points will be awarded as follows. Number one, each host will select a list of 10 games that they would like to complete. Number two, the host will be rewarded varying amounts of points as they complete the games. Three, the point totals for each game will be determined beforehand based on the average length of the game. The host must agree beforehand on which point tier each game will fall in. So here in a moment, as Ruuts and I reveal our separate lists of 10 games, we're going to rate each game based on the average length of time that it takes to beat it. And we're going to assign point totals to each one. So you're going to get more points for beating longer games than you will for beating shorter ones. Basically, your time is valuable here. So, the more you invest, the more you'll get out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anthony wants me to sing Beat It from Michael Jackson. I don't think that's happening. I don't think anybody wants to hear that. That's the thing. Like, if I knew that everybody out there wanted to hear it, then I'd be doing it. But
I thought about sending you a picture of Michael Jackson to kind of put up in the background for this. You know, that Michael Jackson face where he bites his bottom. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I thought that would be a good logo for our competition.
Well, maybe it will be here forward, right?
Yeah, because this is going to play into a lot of Monday shows this year. I imagine we're going to be updating this thing probably every other week at least.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the rules. And here's where the strategy starts to come in. Rule number 4, each host can score double points by finishing a game from their opponent's list. So if I finish one of Ruuts' games before he does, not only do I get to take those points, but I get double points. So again, this is a way that whoever's trailing can catch up quickly by playing the other guy's games. It also brings an element of strategy into choosing your games, because I'm obviously going to want to pick games that Ruuts isn't going to want to play, and vice versa.
Well, and then also not only that, but you're going to want to pick a game that can't just be blown through real quick. Like every game you have on there that's super fast and super easy is a game that maybe as I'm focusing on something else, all of a sudden Wes like, done. And I'm like, fuck, I'm getting behind in points. He's double scoring on my games. Hell no.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's not all because rule number 5 states that when a game is completed by either host, it will be removed from the list and a new game must be
Ooh.
chosen to take its place. So that means if I decide to beat one of my games or even pick off one of Roots's, even if he's put 10 hours into playing it, if I beat it first, it drops off of his list and all that time's wasted.
That's bullshit. Why would you do that to me, Wes? I'm just trying to finish the game, bro. Can you imagine?
Well,
Am I now at that point? Am I like, am I getting? I'm not never gonna touch that game. Like, fuck that game forever.
I'm not saying that we're going to go to that from day one, but there is definitely the opportunity to get cutthroat about it here. Not only in that rule, but in the other rules as well.
Yeah, yeah. These rules are pretty well thought out.
Rule number 6, each host can change one title on their list per week. These changes can only be made live on the Monday show.
Oh
And in
God.
the event that there is no episode of the Monday show on a given week, a host can change the game by making a public comment on Discord. The comment must take place during the Monday show window, 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. on Monday evening, and the other host must be tagged in the comment. So, Roots, if there's another game that you feel like you want to play at some point, you can just change it, but you can only do that during the Monday show or on
Mm,
that Monday evening window. Also, a useful defensive tactic because if you see me playing your game and I'm about to beat it, guess what you can do?
yeah,
You
that's
can take it
crazy.
off the list,
Well, but
right?
that's the thing though. Because now this is where strategy could come in for you because I'm gonna stream everything. One, because I enjoy streaming it, and two, I don't want to edit. Whereas you record stuff. So you could say record several different episodes, or whatever, and then blast them out and then win. But at the same time, because you're holding back, I might be able to slide it in real quick and finish it. But I'm at a disadvantage because you know what I'm doing because I'm streaming it, at least at the day. I'm just gonna have to be a little bit more sneaky on what I just keep it a little closer to my fold, not tell Wes what I'm doing. Because I think
You're absolutely right. That is an advantage for recording versus live streaming
yep.
because I always know what you're doing. And when you don't know what I'm doing. Now, with that said, there's nothing stopping you from recording.
Oh, it's
Like,
true.
I don't have to know what you're doing. And in fact,
Oh.
I mean, technically, the game doesn't have to be on your list for you to be playing it. Like, you could be playing a game right now that you're going to put on your list in June and just record it while you're doing it. And then all of a sudden, you could blast it out and all of a sudden Roots just in the course of a day scored 100 points by posting 5 gameplays on one day.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like on the onset, that like immediately, I'm sure people would say doesn't sound fair, but that time is being taken. If you're playing that game for 10 hours to record it to play it, it doesn't matter, man. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter when you play it, when you put it out, how you put it out. There's so many different facets to this. It really could get interesting on how we do it.
Yeah. I've put a lot of thought into it. There are ways that to get the advantage on your opponent. There's many opportunities, and that's why I made the rules the way that they are, so that you can always take action
Mm.
to bridge the gap. For example, say Roots is he's playing one of my games, and I see it because he's streaming it. I'll do what I just said and take that game off of my list in a defensive move to keep
Mm.
him from beating it. But at the same time, Roots can just do the same thing and change it and add it to his list and beat the game. And he might not get double points like he would have with it being my game, but he will get some points for it. And
Yeah.
in addition to that, it'll be gone forever at that point, and the time that I put into it would just be wasted. So there's a lot of different angles that we could come at it from here.
Yeah. Yeah. So it behooves us to play nice until it's time to not play nice, as
Exactly.
Patrick Swayze
Yeah.
would say, right?
You should pick and choose when you decide to take it there because I'm sure that when I start getting cutthroat, you're going to respond, and when you start going cutthroat, then I will respond in turn. It's going to be fun,
I'm
especially toward the end.
Well, especially since it's really all about playing the games. There's not any besides bragging rights, no financial things on there, and that's the thing too. Is like for me, I get weird when it comes when money's involved, and so I didn't want money to be involved for that reason, because I don't need it to get weird. I
Yeah.
need it to be fun, not weird. So
Yeah. So we decided just to go for bragging rights on it. I had some different ideas on how we could incentivize it, but I'm good. I'm good with just uh, for it being just for bragging rights. But what you guys have to do is you have to hold us to task, right? You have to make us want to win by, poking and prodding us and talking shit to us to make us want to win. So that falls on you guys.
yeah, and choose which team you're on right now, Team Wes or Team Roots. There's no going back.
That's right. No, with that said, there absolutely is. I don't. If you're on Team Roots and you want to come on over to Team Weasel, feel free. We accept everyone. We're very inclusive here.
You're dead to
We're
me.
we're very tolerant, but the one thing we won't tolerate is intolerant people. I
Yeah,
hate people who are full of hate.
yeah, yeah. It's good. We gotta tolerate the intolerant.
Yeah.
Uh,
We cannot tolerate the intolerant.
yeah.
Anyway, um, rule number 7, and this is another way that either of us could can make up ground if we need to. There will be a separate list of up to 5 very long games that either host can attempt to finish for major bonus points. These games will remain all year for both hosts to complete if they wish to do so. So I've chosen 5 very long
Mm,
games that are just on their own list. And if someone beats them, it doesn't drop off. They stay there all year long for either of us to play and beat. It's going to take a lot of time to work through them, but I mean the points that you get for completing them are just so massive that it might be worth your time to do it.
it's funny. I didn't pull scenes for these ones, as you mentioned them, but I guess we won't need them. But the funny thing is like I thought these 5 were Wes's 5 choices. And I saw that at first. I was like, what the fuck is Wes trying to do to me, bro? Like, these are games that I like. I don't know that I could finish these games. But I think you picked the good ones because they would be fun to finish for one, and two, they're good games that I'd like to finish anyway, and a lot of points. So
Well, I think the way I'm going to approach it, I think that these are games, like you said, that we want to play anyway, but they're so long. I think that what I'm going to kind of do is just kind of bounce in and out of them every now and then, maybe play 2 or 3 hours here and there, and just see what kind of progress I can make toward it. And then at the end of the year, if I need it, maybe we can just polish it off.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Um, anyway, rule number 8, and this is where you guys as viewers are really going to be the winners. Rule number 8, the games must be played from start to finish to receive full point totals. So you can't just pick up from the middle of the game and expect to get all the points. But starting from a mid game save and finishing a game will yield the player half of the normal point total. But if a player begins playing from a save, at least half of the game must be played to receive any points. This means that you can't get points by starting a game right before the end and then finishing it. So, Roots, as we mentioned earlier, uh, to get full points for the game, you got to play the full game. But there is a provision in here in case there are games that you want to finish, you've already started, you don't want to start over. You don't have to. You can start at the midway point and finish it and still get half points for it.
That's good because there's some games that are good, but they're so long that you're like, I'm not going through that beginning part again. So it incentivizes that. So that's good.
And here we go. Again, this is where you guys really benefit from this. Rule number 9, the games must be played on camera, either in a recording or on a stream, and be published on the host's various YouTube or Twitch channels or on the Virtual Strangers channel. Again, these channels are all linked in the description below. Be sure to be subscribed and hit the notification bell because business is about to pick up on all of these channels.
Yeah, Roots is about to diversify from Pop One.
Need to diversify your bonds.
That's right.
Rule number 10. In the event that both hosts complete a game during the same window of time, points will be awarded to the host who first publishes the ending on one of the previously mentioned channels. So, say Roots and I are both playing a game. He's streaming it, I'm recording it. Whoever gets that ending out there in the world first, they beat it first, right? So it doesn't matter. Like if I finished it last week, if I don't get the video up before Roots finishes it, then Roots gets the points.
Wow. Well, this is almost setting you up to want to get COVID. You know, so you get
Right?
extra time, bro. I'll be streaming 24/7 for 2 weeks. Although, from what Mash Daddy said, you don't want to have your headset on at all. You just want to lay
Well,
down and
I'll
die.
be the first to admit that I am at a severe disadvantage here when it comes to that aspect. I don't have the time to play games that Roots does. But where I have an advantage, I feel like, is I made the rules and I understand all the possibilities of how to make up ground with it.
Mm.
So I feel like strategy might be on my side here, whereas time is on Roots' side.
Yeah, it offsets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Absolutely.
I agree.
Rule number 11, cross-platform games on a host list can be completed by his opponent or on any available platform. I'm sorry, I misread that. Cross-platform games on a host list can be completed by the opponent on any available platform. So, like, say I choose to play Star Wars Squadrons on PlayStation VR. Roots can beat Star Wars Squadrons on PC and get the points. It's not platform specific that way. So cross plats are the same every version. Now, with that said, what you were saying earlier about how you would like to choose Doom 3, but you're not sure you're going to have your quest the entire competition. Maybe you should do the BFG. I will allow it those to be treated as a cross-platform game. So interchangeable because it's pretty much the same game with graphical differences, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
So the game's roughly the same length. So I would consider that to be interchangeable. So if you wanted to add Doom 3 to the list, either version would count.
absolutely. I noticed today, Wes. I took a look at Best Buy, and there's now starting to say that the Rift S is available, and it's going to be shipping out like next on Friday or like I don't know. So I'll be buying it this weekend and doing the old return of the headset I have now, and then I'll be buying another Quest 2 somewhere in the next month or two. But I got to get back. I got to go to see if I'm going to be doing all this streaming of all these games. I need a stable connection. I don't need to have all the weirdness that I've been having with the link cable lately.
Have you tried virtual desktop at all?
I have. I've done virtual desktop, but the problem is with virtual desktop, at least from what I've been able to do, one, you're relying on the battery because even if I have it connected, it's still going to have an issue. I've had it before where all of a sudden it just says, "Hey, there's a cord in here. Do you want to start your link cable?" And even though you're in the middle of virtual desktop, you're doing something else. So that would be an issue, and then the battery issue, and then of course getting chat into the thing becomes an issue as well. Unless you're using
That would be an issue for sure.
yeah, so unless you're using a Steam VR game, and then you can use the OVR tool. It just there's all sorts of facets that all disappear if I am linked via HDMI. I don't have the drops. I don't have the weird connects. I don't have the dropping out and coming back to a black screen, or the worst thing that you could ever have as a streamer. Oh, you can't link to your headset unless you reset your computer, but you're streaming. So now you just lost all your viewers. You're restarting. I've gone from 15 people watching down to 3, and then you got to rebuild it back up. So it's just a pain in the ass. I'm just ready to have something more stable, and then hopefully the link cable will fix itself because there's a lot of issues and it has to do with drivers conflicting. And I've been doing a lot of reading, and it's good for a long time until something changes, NVIDIA or any of the other drivers, and then they start conflicting. And for what I do, that's when you start to see the issues. If it's just the average person, like you said, you just restart the headset, no big deal. It's not that big a deal if you're not streaming. So,
All right, and you're going to get your Quest 2 back later, so
absolutely.
it'll be good for you to really get a good idea in the difference between the two anyway. But I will say this: we got to get our co-op gameplay in before you send that thing back. We have to do that.
Yeah. Well, we
So
can do that this week because I won't be sending it. I have to return. I can still return it to Amazon, believe it or not, this whole time, as long as I do it before the 31st of January. And then I'll
that's pretty good, man.
I'll get a freshie. So,
Freshie. Who doesn't want a freshie?
yeah, who doesn't want a freshie?
Anyway, where was I? Okay. Rule number 12. Of the 10 games selected, no more than 2 slots at a time can be occupied by games that are exclusive to PlayStation VR, Helix Vision, or Vortex, meaning that at all times, each list must include 8 games from either PCVR or Quest. The reason why I put this rule in there is so that it couldn't be used as a defensive tactic to choose an entire list of games that the opponent just can't play. Like Roots doesn't have PlayStation VR, which means if I wanted to, if it weren't for this rule, I could just pick 10 PlayStation VR games. And now Roots is at a big disadvantage because he can't pick my games off. So I put this rule in there so that only 2 of these games can be on the list at any given time. And I included Helix Vision and Vortex in that as well because, results vary on Helix Vision and Vortex, especially when you start to take into account streaming and recording on top of it. So I felt like just because one of us can get that working doesn't necessarily mean that the other one's going to be able to. So those 3 platforms, of course, we want to include everything because we want to play the games, right? At the end of the day, it's about playing the games that we want to play. So I made this so that we can include those games, but that the competition's still fair.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't have that PlayStation VR, and one of them on your list is from there, and I was like, how do I play that? It's exclusive, dude.
Yep, that's why I did that. So I actually started off with 2 PSVR games on there, and I removed one because I thought of something else I wanted to play more.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. I like the fact that we can swap them around, because there might be a
Yeah,
game that, something pops up or I get an inkling to want to, check out something else, and I'll go right into it, right?
absolutely. Rule number 13. Very short or episodic games are not allowed. However, complete collections of episodes or even single episodes will be allowed as long as the average completion time of the series or the episode meets or exceeds 3 hours. Meaning you can't go in and play Tarzan VR, beat it in 45 minutes and get points. You can't play a single episode of The Exorcist or Affected the Manor. All of these really short things you're not going to get points for. But if there's a collection like the complete Exorcist with all 5 episodes, you can get points for that. Or if there's a single episode that takes longer or takes at least 3 hours to beat, something like Jurassic World Evolution, you can get points for that. But all of these really, really short things like individual episodes of Vader Immortal, for example, you can't get credit for. Even like the complete Vader Immortal, I don't think's long enough really to qualify as a game in our competition.
What if you drug it out? You walked around for like 30 minutes, and I mean, you're taking 3 hours. You got the timer. Like, oh, hey.
Well, I mean that's a legitimate question because, as you know, I generally take longer to beat these games, but that's why I worded it the way I did. Average time of completion, meaning
Okay.
we take it to the chat, we take it to Google, we find out just how long these games are by most people's opinion. And that's what we use to judge it by.
Okay, sounds good.
And again, as long as we agree, that's really what matters. We agree beforehand what a game's worth.
Yeah, my number one first game is Form. I'm just kidding.
Right. Right. We would do Form like 3 times.
Yeah,
Yeah. VR 365 said it like immediately. You guys are on the same wavelength.
I read his. I cheated. So.
Okay. So rule number 14: if a host starts a game only to realize that there's no proper ending to it, then no points are going to be awarded just because you spent time in the game. Basically, some games are open ended. They don't have an ending. They just continue to give you shit to do forever. I don't care if you spend 30 hours in that. That's kind of on you. You're not going to get points for it. For example, I don't know if Into the Radius has an ending. Scion seems to have been playing that game for 1,000 hours, and there's still shit for him to go in it and do. So I don't even know if that's available for us to use because, again, you have to be able to, quote, beat the game. Or as Anthony likes to say, you got to beat that game tape.
Yeah.
You got to finish the tape, bro.
Fugle. You fly around as a bird or whatever, and I don't even know that has an ending, right?
Right. Yeah, there's lots of these. Like, now, I mean, we can make exceptions. For example, like, I would say that To the Top would be eligible, uh, basically because there's a finite number of levels and there's a lot of them. So if somebody were to go through and beat every level, I would be okay with that.
The same thing with
Um,
Operation Warcade. I mean, you don't have to unlock every star to finish the game, right? Or to get, or would you consider you have to get every star to finish it?
no, I would
Just
say
unlock
just
them.
because where the levels unlock as you progress, as long as you get them all unlocked and finish it, then that I would consider beating the game in Warcade or even like 1976, which is very likely to end up on one of my lists at some point.
So now we're having someone create an app for this for the Android. No, just kidding. That someone was saying this is like fantasy football, like at some point we need an app to track all this crap.
Well, that's what the Monday show's for. We're
Oh,
going to
that's
have
right.
plenty of update segments. When somebody scores, we're going to talk about it. When somebody changes a game on their list, we're going to talk about it. And every minute of gameplay is going to be on our channels. So this isn't going to be hard to keep up with because it's all going to be put out there in real time. So
Yeah. Scion says there's 3 endings for Into the Radius.
well, that's good. How long would you say that Into the Radius is on average, Scion? Like, how fast can someone beat it? Or not can, because obviously there are ways to, in some games to speed run them and take shortcuts. We're not really counting that. I want the average length that takes someone to beat a game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be curious because Scion's like what on part 30 of his series now Into the Radius. I mean, there's a lot of gameplay in there.
Yeah.
But that said, a lot of that might be side quests and stuff. Like for example, Skyrim. You could probably beat that game in 30 or 40 hours, or you can play it for 100 hours and do everything in it.
Yeah, true.
You
Anthony
know.
says VR 365 says imagine if you could get paid 8 hours a day to play VR, but you got to stream all 8 hours. And actually, a lot of people do that, streamers. But what's funny is, I think you would end up not liking it as much. I think you would end up, it just wouldn't be as fun, And that's just my guess.
I think I would love that. I think that would be my dream job. Now, with that said, what I don't think I would enjoy is being a VR game developer, making VR games. I think that would be terrible because you know what the difference between science and magic is, Roots? You know how science is done. That's all science is the explanation of magic.
Right.
And to me, VR games are magical right now because I don't know how they work. I just know that it's awesome and it's crazy what these devices and these games are capable of. But the minute you go to school and learn how to make it, Now all of a sudden you see how the sausage is made, and it loses that magic.
I was just
And
about to say, yeah, you don't want to know how the sausage is made because
yeah,
I don't really like sausage very much since I found out. So it does take away from it. So I think it would take a little bit of the magic of it. Absolutely.
it's one of the reasons why I put developers on such a pedestal here, is because I really appreciate what they do, because I know they got into it because it's what they love. And in a lot of ways, they're making sacrifices to make these games and provide us with these experiences. And I'm sure it's very gratifying when you finally get to see your creation come to life and see how people interact with it. I'm sure that's a whole nother level of gratification, but sacrifice is involved in it. And that is not lost on me. And I'm eternally grateful
Yeah.
to these developers.
Yeah, me too. 20 to 30 hours, Scion says, for Into the
Matty
Radius.
Matt, Matty Matt says, you know who else loves sausage?
My mom!
Oh, yeah, she does.
Yeah, so 20 to 30 hours, says Scion. So that would mean that would fall into the long game tier.
Mm.
And we're going to talk about our point scoring. But really quickly, I wanted to say one more thing that I didn't write in the rules, but this is kind of an unspoken rule. You don't have to pick games that you haven't played before.
Hmm.
If you want to replay a game that you've already beaten, by all means do so. Just as long as you're recording it or streaming it, you can play all the games that you've already beaten again. They absolutely count, because you know, most of the games I've beaten, I beat on CV1 or Rift S, and I really would like to do it again on Quest 2 or G2. So this is a way to make that possible. And again, you're spending just as much time on it. So why not? Why not include those?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the point tiers. We have three different, four different tiers of points. Short games, on average, 3 to 6 hours long, 5 points. Medium games, 6 to 12 hours, 10 points. Long games, 12 to 20 hours, 15 points. Extra long games, more than 20 hours, 20 points. And again, those are the point tiers for the games that we choose. Now, the following list of games will remain available again to both hosts to complete throughout the entire competition. Each game off of this list that's completed will earn the host 50 points. These points will only be awarded if the game is played on video from start to finish, meaning from this list, there's no do half the game and get half credit. You play the whole game, you get the 50 points, which is really something, because, you know, the most points that we can score in our direct competition is if I beat one of your extra long games. And that would net me 40 points, because it would be double the total of 20. Well, these 5 games, beating these will give you 50 points. So it's a way to make a lot of ground up really quickly if you get down, or even to you know, extend your lead if you're ahead.
I like how you said really quickly because these games are not quick at all.
Scion says you should factor difficulty settings: easy, medium, hard. Um,
That's true.
I
I think we
I
should
kind of
put everything on normal, right? At least.
Yeah, no easy settings, normal or hard required. But with that said, it's kind of factored in already, because when you look at the average time that it takes to complete a game, it's kind of a reflection of how difficult the game is. So playing a game on hard obviously would take longer, or playing it even on normal would take longer than doing it on easy. So you assume that that's taken into account with the average completion time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with the rule. No playing on easy. Um, it should be pretty obvious too, if you are playing on easy or not.
Screw you,
But I
Scion.
guess just to keep things fair, we should, if possible, during the first gameplay of any game, we should show that it's on normal or hard. And I'm not above putting it on hard, because at the end of the day, the purpose of this is to have fun.
Right.
And like if I play through Half-Life Alex again, I'm going to play it on hard because normal's too easy.
Right.
Um, and competition be damned. That's just how it is.
I'm gonna do it with a gnome. No, I'm not gonna do it with a gnome. Screw that.
No, not doing that. Not for this.
Not for this.
Anyway, five super long games worth 50 points each as follows. One, of course, Asgard's Wrath. I mean, I feel like this was on both of our lists anyway, right?
Yeah, I thought this was on your list. I thought this list was your list, and I was like, man, what the hell is Wes trying to do to me? It's a long
How
game.
sc- how screwed would I be if that was my list? This 5 games. Like
Well,
I'd never score any points.
be very defensive for sure.
Well, that's true. I'd either win or lose.
Yeah.
Uh, title number 2. Grand Theft Auto 5 VR mod. So again, very long campaign here. Again, something that we both want to play through.
You need to play through it. It's amazing.
Absolutely, I agree. And when you need something, Roots,
Yeah.
it's a responsibility.
That's right.
Number 3, Abduction. Again, we both loved a fairly long game, and not the easiest game in the world. 50 points for completing Abduction.
I'm gonna do it with Scion by my side.
Hey, dude, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's all fair. You're assuming though that Scion's on Team Roots and
That's
not
right.
on Team Weasel.
Oh, how fucked up would it be if like Scion was deliberately running me in circles?
He's a double
Oh,
agent.
you son of a bitch, Scion. Why are you a double agent, bro?
How dare you?
How dare you?
Number 4, Skyrim VR. This is one that I've been meaning to get into for a long time because I've only played Skyrim on PlayStation. I've never played it on PC. I've never seen what it looks
Oh
like
God, with
with
the
all these
mods.
mods that people love. So definitely at some point going to get started on Skyrim.
You get lost in it, bro.
Yeah, I probably will. That's something that we need more of in VR, these big open world games.
The next one that we're talking about, it has like some mods and somebody made that where you can actually make it like into the radius where it's a survival type of thing. It's more like that, and it's supposed to be really hard, and it's what Scion needs to do, but for sure.
Yeah, and I'm definitely looking forward to finally getting into Fallout 4 VR. One of the big pluses of upgrading my rig this year is I'm hoping that now I can play Fallout 4 VR and have it be actually smooth because it was all jerky and jittery before. I've got a 3080, I've got a 9900K.
And you're using a
ho-
Steam headset if you use a G2.
That's true. It's native. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I've got a native Steam VR headset, so that could make a big difference as well.
Well, that mod I was talking about, which somebody posted it a while back, and I think I posted it again in the Discord, but there's like changes to some of the code or whatever the guy did that he guarantees makes it phenomenally smooth. So there's like so many reasons to do it, but it would definitely be a lot harder from what they say. His advice, if you die a lot in the beginning, is get good, because you're gonna die a lot in the beginning. He said so, and run.
Well, I probably won't put any kind of mods that significantly change the gameplay.
Yeah, no, you just want it to look good.
Yeah, I just want it to look and run good. I want to play the game as the developers intended it to be.
Yep.
All right, so those are the rules. Those are the point tiers. Roots, I feel like fair. I feel like that we both have advantages and disadvantages here, and I feel like the rule set is such that no one will ever be out of the game completely. There's always going to be opportunity to catch up and get cutthroat with it at any moment, right?
Absolutely. And the list, these 20 really amazing games. And I didn't even tell you the way I did it, just so you know. I started with the first one on my list, and then I went to your first and back and forth.
Okay.
All
All right. So we're going to alternate.
Yep.
Good. So why don't you enlighten us, Roots? What is your first of your 10 games?
Okay, this is my first, and this is the main reason. I'm going to be 100% honest. Mash Daddy the other day said he picked up this game, asked me when we were going to play co-op on my stream with Helix Vision, and I was like, I literally told him, I said, dude, that'll be the first game I put on my list of a Helix Vision game, and it is Dying Light, which is we all got, well, Roots got bamboozled by the whole we thought we were getting free games, and this was one of them. It made me want to play this game. This game is so good, such an amazing story. And not only did I add it for that reason, I have the selfish reason, Wes. I want you to play it as well. And because we talked about playing this game many times, and this is such an amazing co-op game, such an amazing zombie game, such an amazing story, the crafting, everything about this game, even the climbing that you use, the bumper to climb with is so, I believe, revolutionary. It feels so different and good. Um, the movement in this game, it's one of my favorite games of flat games of all time.
Well, you can count me in, bro. And I'll tell you what, you'll notice as we get going through my games that there's a common theme with a lot of them. And there's a lot of this, horror type of stuff going on because, those are my favorite games, these dark, evil games. Um, so you might notice me playing your games a lot to start off with here, Roots, but it's not because I'm trying to, pick off your games necessarily, but it's just because I want to play them. I mean, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of your games. There's 6 of them that I want to play. 3 of them that I was even thinking about putting on my own list. So, yeah, I might be attacking your list fairly early on, just because I want to play the games.
Well, and that's why these are all games that I've thought in the past that I want to play through and finish. And this is such a good game, so I can't wait to play it. And anybody that wants, there's 4 people. There's room for 4 people on this co-op amazing adventure. So if you want to run around with me in the stream, this is a game to pick up, and you can get it on sale. So
I'm totally down, bro. And I go to my new work schedule next week,
oh, nice.
which means every day when you get home from work, I'm going to be home.
Oh,
So,
sweet. Yeah, so you'll be available. So we'll have to start scheduling it,
for
man.
for a little while. I go to work. I'll be leaving the house around 8:30 your time. So,
Okay. So if I get off
uh,
work early, we can even really crank it in, right?
right. Yeah, exactly. And plus, Saturday. Saturday you're home most of the day, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm usually down by about noon or something. Jurillo says Alien Isolation on Nightmare. Hell no.
We might do Alien Isolation, but it won't be like that.
Yeah, I thought about adding that to my list, if I'm not gonna
Me
lie,
too.
because it's such a game that I've wanted to play through, but it's also a very long game, from what I've heard.
Very
So
long game. Yeah. Anyway, Dying Light, according to Google, is about 18 hours long. Does that seem fair to you?
oh yeah, easily. You could go through a little bit quicker, but I mean, the thing is, the story takes as long as it takes. It's such an amazing story, and there's so many side quests, and it's not like side. That's why this game was so good. Is it's not, you need all this other stuff, man. You go run off on some side quest, you get some schematic for some really badass weapon you wouldn't have gotten, right? You don't know what you're gonna get. So there's a lot of reasons to do a lot of things. And Wes, the fucked up zombies come out at night, and they will chase you, and it's the only game that I've played flat where, aside from, well, I guess not even Resident Evil, where you're like literally freaked out trying to get the hell away from these things, because they'll tear you up quick. And I think you're gonna love this game, bro.
I look forward to doing it. I look forward to playing it. And yeah, and like I said, even though like during the week it'll be days that you get off early that we can play together. On the weekends, I mean, you're home and I'll be home again till 8:30. So any of those days, we can get together and play.
Yeah, and you know what's cool about this too, Wes, is like just because you're on a different part of the story, like if you decide you want to go in and play your own and play or whatever on the side, it's not going to really mess things up per se, except for, like when we get together, we'll be doing whoever's game we're joining, right? So we would have to alternate. So that would be a fair way for us to play. Maybe one day we play your game, one day we play mine, and that way we're not, if we're playing together, we're not really advancing too much further on the other person's game. Although I'm not going to tell you all the secrets we're in your game. Like, I don't know what's
Right.
going on, bro. I don't know where to go.
That's fair. Or maybe you can have Scion mislead me.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is good. So
Anyway, you're going to notice that a common theme through most of my games, if not all of them, these are games that I've played through and already almost beat all of them, or at least more than half of them. I'm 75 to 80% through. With that said, I'm not going to pick up from a save. I'm going to start to finish these games because they're some of my favorite games, and in some cases, I mean, games I just want to replay anyway. And and I lost my train of thought. Oh, anyway, most of these games, and the first game on my list certainly fits this description. I think I'm pretty close to the end of it as it is, but you know what? I'm going to have a blast playing it again. Trover Saves the Universe.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, this is cool
sorry,
because
go.
this is one of the games that I always wanted to stream, but I never streamed it because it's just a fun game to play, and I did finish it at one point, but I wouldn't mind going through it again.
Well, there you go. According to Google, this is a short game, 5 to 6 hours.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, I got lost. I think I got when I went to where his roommate or whatever his former roommate, the zoo, is where I got tripped up a little bit time wise, but for the most part, it seemed pretty flowing, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, I've already got 6 hours in it, and I haven't beat it.
oh god,
So, but that probably could just be how I play. So, 6 hours is the mark. Would you say
Hmm.
that this is shorter than 6 hours on average, or longer?
I'd say about there. But you could probably you wouldn't even need to really take all the time anymore because you've already seen a lot of it. A lot of the stuff you would
Right,
want to check out, you've already checked out, so you could just kind of move through quicker. So,
right. I don't have to get every power baby as I go through it.
yep, absolutely.
All right, so we'll call that one a short game. By the way, Dying Light, we called that one a long game, 15 points. Trevor Saves the Universe, 5 points.
Okay.
All right, Rich, what's next on your
All
monday
right. This
list?
next one, I am going to require Scion's help. And if he doesn't do it, he's dead to me because he says he's beat it, but he doesn't want to play it because it takes a lot of commitment. And that's what everybody says. But I have to beat this game, guys. It's basically FTL in VR. It is From Other Suns. It is a long game, and it is difficult to beat. But if I have the right crew with me, I think we can do it. And this is a game I'd love to play with you as well, Wes, but I don't know that you own it. And I did think about that because this game, I felt a little bad at first, but then I saw one of your games, I won't give it away, that I can't play. And then I was like, well, screw it. He's going to have to buy this game.
Well, maybe. I've never been too hot, to try it though. So
I think you would
it'd have
like
to
it.
be it'd have to be on a sale
I
for me to
think you
pick
would
it up.
like it. It's cool. I think it's really cool. Totally different than any game that I've ever played of this nature. It's got a strategic aspect to it, and I think once you got into it, I think you would like it. But
All right. According to Reddit, 6 to 8 hours for this one.
really,
Does Scion concur?
well, I guess if you have it is. I mean, we'll say 6 to 8 hours, but the problem is getting the right team. But if you have the right team, absolutely, probably it's probably right.
Well, let me make it a little easier for you here because really the 6 isn't the question. It's the 8, but the 8 isn't the top bound of the second tier. 12 is the top boundary.
Mm.
So would you say it's longer than 12 hours?
Well, I mean, we could probably go with that. I know, what was it? Diz the Game Cat says, "Good luck. Been trying to beat From Other Suns forever." Um,
Now, see, that's what I was talking about a moment ago when I said the average length kind of plays into the difficulty. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah. Well, Scion says longer.
Longer than 8 or longer than 12?
I think he's saying longer than 12. The thing is this is a very difficult game that, like once you wipe, like if you go to a point, you got to start all over. You only have so many people to that are alive, so many bodies, and you can get others and you can do different stuff. But once you run out of humans, um, then it's it. You're done, and you got to start the whole thing over, and it's a very
Start it
long,
all over.
yeah. So
Okay. Well, I will concede to you on this one because I'm not familiar with it. and we will call this a long game. 15 points, 12 to 20 hours. Does that
You-
seem fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Jorillo says, "Can you play from other Suns single player?" You could absolutely, because you've got computer people. They'll do it, but it's going to be more difficult. I would think they would die a lot easier. Like, because Wes, you're going over to other ships. You're taking their guns. You're running. I mean, it's cool, dude. It's just very different. It's kind of what I wish is Bridge Crew, Star Trek Bridge Crew mixed with this. Like, you're flying, doing everything in Star Trek, but at some point you beam down to the planet because you actually teleport over to the other ship, and it's cool.
Yeah, and I do think we do need to take into consideration, failed attempts with our gameplay lengths. I think your next game is going to fall into the same tier as well.
Yeah,
And I didn't choose it, but at some point I'm going to pick in Death Unchained, and I feel like that falls into the same category. That's a game that probably if you're an expert, you could probably go through it in 5 or 6 hours. But truth be told, it's probably going to take you 30 to beat it, right?
yeah, yeah. It's definitely gonna be a long one.
But yeah, so 15 points from Other Sons. My next game, again, I'd say I'm probably about halfway through Iron Man VR. This is my PlayStation VR game, so it's safe. I can progress at my own pace in it. But again, one of the best titles on PlayStation VR. Can't really go wrong there.
Yeah, and you get to play it with the PlayStation 5 now.
Right, exactly. And I may it may be one of those deals where I tag in and out because I'm going to have a few games that I want to play on PSVR. Like for example, Hitman's getting ready to come out. That might replace Iron Man next week.
Hmm.
But again, the game doesn't have to be on your list for you to make progress in it. It just has to be on your list when you finish it.
That's right.
You know. So how long is Iron Man VR? 8 to 10 hours, says Google. And I think that seems about right. That's about what I was expecting.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know anybody that's played through it to ask right now, but I think that sounds about right.
All right, so we will call that a medium length game and call that 10 points. So I know what some of you might be saying now. Roots' games are all 15 points. Wes's games are all 5 and 10 points. Roots has the advantage, right? Well, not necessarily, because the reason why Roots' games are worth more points is because it's going to take Roots longer to beat them. And this is not a set list, it's a rolling list. So if I beat Trover in 5 hours, immediately I get to put a new game in that slot. And maybe it's another 5-point game. But, beating 3 5-point games is the same as beating one 15-point game.
Yep.
So that's the reason why it's kind of set up the way that it is, based on time.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, I think that you're going to have a lot of time involved if you beat your next game.
Yeah, dude, I don't even know what the hell was wrong with me when I put it on there, except for the fact that I want to beat it. And that's why it's made the list. Because everything on this list, at some point, I've thought, I want to beat this game. And that is no different than the persistence. And I will have to have a very, very persistent personality and thought process to finish this game. Because I don't even know how long this game is. How long is this game, Wes, according to Google, the almighty Google?
Reddit says that the game is 10 to 12 hours on
Okay.
average.
Yeah, we'll say about 12 hours then. I guarantee it's going to take longer than that for me. I haven't really figured out the best way to approach all the enemies. And the mapping is still a little bizarre to me. So I think you probably have a better advantage on this game than me.
Now, dude, those advanced enemies are hard to deal with. And the only way that I've found to deal with any of them is by using the special items that you craft at the terminals.
Yeah, it's just such a good game, right?
Yeah, I love it. And I absolutely considered putting it on my list, but it's so hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and
I
that was
love it.
that was
It's
part
fun.
of my strategy too, Wes, is I didn't want to make it too easy for you either to come pick my games off, you know? So, because like if I'm gonna have an easy game on there, I better make sure I'm hitting that game immediately, or else Wes is gonna fucking knock that shit off, right? Maybe.
Absolutely. And then this is another good example. Like I've got more than 12 hours in that game, easy, and I'm not even halfway through it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's a hard game. So I wouldn't be opposed to calling this a long game as opposed to a
Sure.
medium game
Yeah. Let's do it.
and giving it another 15 points because there's no way, I don't think either of us are going to beat this game in 12 hours.
No, there's no way I'm not for sure.
All right. So we will call that yet another 15-point game.
I already have it fully finished and recorded, ready to go. No, just kidding. That would be amazing since I wasn't this whole thing was not my idea. I could see you doing that.
Yeah, the funny thing about this is that it goes without saying that you're playing this one from start to finish because there's no saves.
Mm.
You have to, if you're beating it from start to finish. Everything else is just going to be a failed attempt.
Yeah, but still, you still have to start at the very beginning because you're going to have like stem cell advantage and all that
Right.
stuff. But
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you do have to start with a fresh, clean save, but because you have to progress your character to advance, right? But as far as like the maps go and working your way through it, the last episode in the series is going to contain the entire map from start to finish.
Yeah.
You have to go through it all.
Well, Gerillo's got a good point. Okay. He wants to know who's going to beat VR Paradise in the Beat It competition. And I I didn't think about that, but don't have any of those on my list. And Scion thinks you need to pick Into the Radius because of all my hard games.
Well, I might do it now, and I did consider it before, but again, I didn't know that the game even had an ending before, so I couldn't exactly pick it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So what's your next one, Wes?
My next game is a game that I've been playing through already, and I'll be happy to start all over again. Lone Echo. Pretty straightforward. This one, I feel like whatever Google says is the length on this one's probably going to be pretty accurate because the gameplay, not a lot of variance in the gameplay. It's just, it's how long you want to stop and smell the roses, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I see you got more perseverance than me. I don't know that I could start this game over again. You just got to the good part. Now you guys go back through all the beginning stuff again. But yeah, more power to you.
No, it's fine. Again, people are going to dig it because they're going to get to watch me play it from start to
Yeah,
finish.
people love your playthroughs, bro.
This one specifically was requested on the Discord that I upload gameplays. And the funny thing is I've got an episode of Lone Echo done, edited, uploaded to my channel. I just haven't went public with it yet.
Nice.
But now I'm going to publish that and then start the whole game over and publish that, but I will just in case somebody wants to watch it. I'll go ahead and put them both up. What the hell?
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So how long is Lone Echo? Depends on how fast you play. First time I played it through, it took me, and I took my time to enjoy the details, and it was like maybe 9 hours, says this guy. Which would put it in the 6 to 12 hour
medium
tier, and I feel like that's probably where it should go.
Yeah, so 10 points.
Yeah, 10-point game for that one.
Cool.
I think that's about what I expected it to be.
Yeah, me too.
I was thinking 6 to 8 hours on it is what I was thinking. So another 10-point game. And Roots.
All right.
What is your number 4?
My next one was inspired by a couple things. We were talking about it on another show, and people were actually interested in playing through with me on my stream. And then the second thing was I played through that Doom 3, and I was like, man, this is kind of like, it's very similar to Dead Effect 2, except for Dead Effect 2, I think is even better in a lot of senses because there's crafting and not crafting, but like upgrades. You're always upgrading your equipment. And this is my main reason is I've been wanting to get you into this game because I know you're going to love it. It's got zombies. It's got story. It's got just tremendous ways of branches of different things you're upgrading, whether it be your earpiece or whatever, and it's just really cool. So
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is one of the ones I was talking about before when I said I'm going to end up helping you beat me by helping you play one of these games. This is going to be one of the games that I go in co-op with you.
yeah, this is amazing. This game is so fun, and it's one of those games that I made it, quite a bit. I think I even played it with Alex back in the day, and but I never made it to past a certain point for whatever reason. I always stopped. So now I want to finish it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good choice. Now, Diz, the Game Cat, and Drillo are both saying that Lone Echo isn't that long, but I would argue that because Diz is saying it's 4 or 5 hours, Drillo's saying 4. I've already got 5 hours in the game, and I'm halfway through it. So it depends on how you play.
Yeah, true.
So Dead Effect 2.
It's only 5 point difference. It's not like we're going extra long. So
Right, and it's not like I'm the only one that can play the game. Roots
that's right.
can get
I
20
get
points
20
if
points.
you
Yeah, so it
right.
benefits me to say, yeah, that's gonna take 10, 12 hours, bro. And then I slap it out in 3 because I'm that good.
Right. There you go. Dead Effect 2.
It's for loot
Hell,
for loot horrors. I'll tell you what, dude. There is so much loot in that game. You are correct, sir. I just like the way that there's so many different aspects of, like, you're unlocking different people. You're like saving these people, and now they're a vendor, and now you can buy different shit from them: armor, weapons, earpieces, or whatever that those things are. There's a lot of upgrades, a lot of cool things to make the game get crazier, and then all the missions. It's just I feel like it's a complete zombie game in VR, because it was I believe this is a port over, right? So
yeah. Dead Effect 2. People are saying 3 to 6 hours on it,
really,
depending on how many of the extras you want to do. And there's a full gameplay on YouTube that's 4 hours and 53
wow.
minutes.
Okay, well, let's go 3 to 6. I didn't know it was that quick. But I
Yep.
guess if you
So
do
that,
multiplayer, definitely for sure. But yeah,
well, that one would be firmly within the 6 hour limit. So we will call that a short 5 point game.
cool.
And again, I'm going to help you get those points.
Yeah,
All right. My number 4 is another one that this one I've barely scratched the surface of, but it's so high on my list of games that I want to play, and I know I'm going to, go all the way through once I get started. Star Wars Squadrons story campaign. I'm fairly certain that this is an 8 hour campaign. That's what most people have said, and it's an absolutely beautiful game. Um, that I have I played first on PlayStation, but ended up buying it on PC. So I've got my G2. I haven't looked at it in the G2 yet, other than just like for a split second, and I'm looking forward to it.
what about your HOTUS? You need to get a HOTUS.
I'm not going to do that.
You need it. No, you don't need it, but it is cool.
No, I'll get a wheel and pedals before I get a HOTUS.
Yeah, I've been down that road. I don't like it.
Anyway, 8 hours. Yes.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, that would put it in the medium game tier for 10 points. Star Wars Squadrons.
Oh yeah.
All right, Roots number 5.
Number 5 is not a multiplayer game, but is a game that every time I see it, I think I need to finish this game because it's so good. Vertigo Remastered. Zach Brown, the Prodigy. I'm going to make you proud, Zach. I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to finish it in 1 hour, and I'm just that good. Maybe not.
Well, I think it is a relatively short game, but it's not that short.
Probably, what, 5, 6 hours, maybe?
That's what I was thinking, but I'm verifying that right now. 3 to 5 hours, it says. So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And this is one of those that if you hadn't picked it, it would have ended up on my list anyway.
Yeah, it's just so
This is-
good. It's just one game that like I said, my list is games I want to finish. So,
Yeah, that's exactly. I didn't put any strategy at all into picking my games. my initial games. Now that said, going forward, it might play in a little bit more depending on how it's going. But yeah, this is just the games I want to finish. These are the ones I want to start on.
Absolutely.
Uh, my next one of my favorite releases of 2020. Again, I haven't played very far into it, maybe 90 minutes or so, but it's not very long. This is going to be a super short one. I feel like this one barely qualified to even be a game on the list, but I think it's long enough, just long enough. Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. Where Vader Immortal is just a little too short, I think that this one is just long enough, and it's so good that it'll probably be one of the first ones that I finish.
Now,
Actually,
this does include, I would imagine, includes collecting the stuff to unlock the Yoda mission, because I don't even know if it would get to 3 hours if you didn't include that.
I don't even know how that plays into it, but yes, I will be. I'll be playing this. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to speed run any of these. Like I'm going to play them as if I would normally play them because that's the point.
Right.
I'm not going to change how I play, just to try to win. I'm going to play the games like I normally would, which means I'm going to be slow as fuck. If this is a 3 hour game, it's probably going to take me 5 hours to play through it.
Yeah.
And you'll see that playing out on my channel.
So I'm not going to be going slow, but I am going to be doing the exact same thing. Just playing it like I normally would be. I just don't stop to smell the roses as much as you, but I do like to check stuff out. So
Scion says that we're insane considering all the new titles that we're going to be playing as well. Yes, we have considered that, and
that's why we can switch the titles anytime we want. We can add one of those new titles, and you got to remember this. The whole point of this is to revisit and finish these old games that we keep saying, fuck, man, I want to finish Vertigo Remastered. And then 2 years later, it's still sitting there and I'm still not finished with it. And at some point, I will move past it and never finish it. So hopefully this will spur us to revisit a lot of these games that we wanted to finish, as well as the new ones on top of it.
yeah, and it's going to totally alleviate the need to have 2 new releases on the Monday show every week.
Yeah.
Now we're going to be able to be a little bit more selective with the new releases that we play. And instead of having 2 new releases to talk about on the Monday show, a lot of weeks we're going to just have one. And then we're going to talk about our experiences that we're having in these games.
Right.
Because that was the part of the thing that people really liked about our show from the very beginning, was the fact that we weren't just talking about new games all the time, that we were talking about the old ones too.
The gems, the hidden gems. That's the biggest thing that people forget, is not everybody coming in or watching the show is at the same point. There's people that have never seen any of these games. Maybe they've never heard of Dead Effect 2, and now they'll find out, right? So,
yeah. Scion says we should have to play the game of the year on all platforms. And to that, I'll just say that it is, spoiler alert, that's going to be one of the games on my list, but not your game of the year. My game of the year is on my list. But in all seriousness, I'm probably going to end up playing through Half-Life Alyx again during the course of this competition, because it's so good on my G2. It's so realistic and so immersive. And I just recently started like the commentary playthrough with the developer nodes that you can click on and get little pieces of cool information about the development of the game. So I mean, that was something I was going to do anyway. So yeah, at some point that will be on my list, if Roots don't pick it.
Oh, cool.
But let's see, where were we at? We were on
my next list. My next one.
Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. That's a short one, right? 5
minutes. Yep.
All right, number 6, Roots.
All right, this one is another long one. It's in my my shame pile, but it's actually a really good game. We talked about it a while ago. We played it, we tried it, and you actually said you liked it as well, at least some of the gameplay, right? And I wanted to get back to this, which is Chronos, and this is one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best Oculus exclusives that came out, and it's 4 years old, It's just very unique, really cool. Pretty long game, pretty hard from what I've heard. So
Yeah, I have no problem. Whatever Google tells us is the length for this one. I have no issue with putting it even a tier higher based on the fact that this is a difficult game. It's a really good game. I enjoyed playing it. But I don't know if I'll even attempt to pick this one off, even though I want to beat it. I don't think I'll even try because it's friggin' hard, man.
it is hard, and it's got elements to the game that actually, as you die, you age, and so you can actually screw yourself. But the more you die, it's not good.
I
So,
think that beating this game is more daunting than beating a game like Asgard's Wrath,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah, because it's not as straightforward as a lot of that gameplay is, right?
Yeah, this
So
probably should have been in the place of abduction on that list, probably.
yeah, well, this is good.
All right.
So what?
As a general rule, Chronos took players around 15 hours to beat it if running through just the story and ignoring all the side quests and extras.
Wow.
So this is a long game anyway.
Yeah.
Another place says that the main story is 8.5 hours long. Completionist up to 15 hours.
Okay.
So on average 12. I say that we call this one a long game.
15
The
points.
15-point tier, that would put it at the 20-hour mark. Sub 20 hours, I think that's a good spot for it.
Oh, sounds good. And while you talk about the next one at the beginning, I gotta use the restroom.
Sure, go for it. So just really quickly, let me put in 15 points here for Chronos and go on to my next game as Roots has so kindly switched over to here. Another one that I'm almost to the end of as it is, and I'm going to start all over again. Lies Beneath, because this is a great game. It's one of my favorite games. It was the horror game of 2020, in my opinion, and I want to beat it. I want to see how this game finishes. Apparently, it's supposed to have a pretty wicked ending, and I want to see it. So I'll be starting this one over, playing through the whole thing on my channel, and I think that this is a medium length game. I'm thinking around 6 to 8 hours on this one. But let's see what Google says. And what? Wait a minute. No way. Hold on here.
Oh, good.
Okay.
It's off the side.
It's weird, man. I write how long lies beneath, and it says 130 minutes. But when I correct it and I write how long is lies beneath, it says 6 to 8 hours, which is right where I was assuming that it would be.
I don't know anybody that could go through that in 60 minutes. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna have a hard time beating this thing on regular mode because I've done it on easy, and it's not easy. So this is a good one.
It says rather than forcing you into a state of helplessness, you can and will fight back and lies beneath quite often. All told, the game is about 6 to 8 hours long, depending on your play style, spread across 20 chapters.
Wow. So maybe I'm not even at the end of it. You know, it did. Drillo says he wouldn't go past medium on this game, hard
Yeah,
wise.
that's where I'll pass the difficulty level. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I played it on the normal difficulty.
Yeah. And Scion says he's asking, is it the best PCVR horror game? Question mark.
Of 2020, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, what's going on, Dave? Station VR. How's your arm, bro? Are we gonna get back into some Pop One soon?
I don't know. I watched their live stream the other day. He seemed to be in pretty good spirits. So I don't know
Good.
how functional his arm is, but he didn't seem to be in too much pain.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay.
He says, "Did I miss the Doom 3 talk?" Yeah, that's at the very top of the episodes. The first thing we talked about was Doom 3. Right now we are detailing our Beat It competition, where Roots and I are going to compete over the course of the year in a game based around finishing VR games.
Yeah, what a good idea. My next one, I am excited about it because I just talked about it not too long ago, and it's a multiplayer game again in Helix Vision. You can get it, I think, for $20 on Steam, or you can get it key places. But Gauntlet with Helix Vision, and I want to see you there because it's multiplayer, 4 people. So
Yeah, dude. And I looked it up on, I don't know, it was either G2A or Instant Gaming, and it's only like $4 to get a copy of this.
yeah, they got a lot of
If I
good.
don't have it already, I'm thinking I might have it in my Twitch Prime library.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, it's definitely a good game, definitely worth checking out, and I'm excited to try it. So,
All right, let's see how long it is. That's the question. Just ask her.
yeah,
My mom!
yeah, she wants to know real good.
How long is it? How long is the Gauntlet remake? Google.
It's the Slayer edition
Player
campaign.
edition. 11 hours.
Oh, nice. So we could probably, do you think we give it one more hour to get to the 12 or no?
Let's see here. The average time played for Gauntlet Slayer Edition is 11 hours. Half of the players played for more than 11 hours. 90% of the players played the game for 2.5 hours or more. So,
But that's,
yeah, I would say based on what it just said here, it said half of the players played for longer than 11 hours. So I think that that's enough to merit putting it into the 12 to 20 hour tier.
yeah. So Dave Station says he loves Gauntlet, and I played it a little while ago, Dave, on Helix Vision, and there was already a profile for it, and it was phenomenal. The just the way it looked from the view from down below. I wanted to go in and just check it out because I was bored, and had access to it. And I ended up playing for several hours, and I'm gonna end up having to start it over because this is one of the games I'm definitely gonna be playing through, that I'm going to be streaming, and hopefully I'll have some people pick it up and they can play with me.
Yeah, well, if I'm around, you can count me in. Of course, that means you staying up late, screwing future Roots when he
Oh
tries to go to
yeah,
work.
I hate that guy.
But yeah, what you're saying is true. This top-down style really lends itself well to the 3D drivers in Helix Vision. That 3D really pops in that thing.
Well, plus the campaign is like it was done, I think, in 2014. It was a remastered version, and it's just done very well. So it's something that even if I was playing flat, I would want to play through it because I like Gauntlet that much. But it just looks really good. Now I will tell you, don't shoot the food because the game was mocking me and saying, "Why would you shoot the food?" And I was like, "I fucking don't know. It was an accident." So,
So be careful, right?
yeah, gotta be careful.
All right, so my number 7 very much sticks to my theme, my favorite games, horror games. Blair Witch VR. This one we reviewed not that long ago. I guess it was a few months back at this point. But I really enjoyed my time in it, and like most games on my list, made it pretty deep, and then on to the next game, and this one got forgotten about. And even I felt like to the point that we didn't give it as much credit as it deserves on the 2020 show when we were talking about the best horror games of 2020. Blair Witch, absolutely one of the best horror games that came out in VR 2020. Uh, Not enough, mind you, to knock off my previous pick, Lies Beneath, but still good enough that I want to finish it. So that's why we picked that one.
Cool.
Uh,
This
let's
is
see here.
Quest only, right?
At this point, that is correct.
Okay.
But you know what? I will accept if you really want to give it a shot. Is playing the flat PC version through one of the Vorpex Helix Vision mods. So
Okay.
if you want to do that, I'm pretty sure it's the same game.
Just a different format of viewing it. Yeah.
Right, right. So it should take you about the same amount of time to beat it,
Cool.
which according to Google's is 5 to 6 hours. So this is a short game.
All right, 5-pointer.
5 points.
Who doesn't love 5 points these days, right?
Okay, let's see here. That brings us to number 8. Roots, what's your number 8?
My number 8, I switched this before. Actually, I had remember that game where you were controlling the marble with your head or whatever?
Arcus Path.
Yeah, because I don't know that you played too much of it, and I thought it'd be a good game to get you into, and then I thought that might be a good game for someone to beat easy, fast. I don't know. Don't know too much about it, so I ended up changing to a multiplayer game that's a little bit more difficult, in Dick Wild 2. And this was actually, ironically, one of the first games I recorded was Dick Wild 2 and gameplay, way back in the day. And it's hard. This is a game that I'm 99% sure I'm going to be relying on somebody to help carry me through to progress through all these levels, because it's difficult, but it's really cool, really fun, and definitely worth playing through.
Yeah, we had fun in this game, right? This is one of the first games that you and I, if not the first game that we ever co-op together.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in this thing.
Yeah, it was because I remember I barely knew you. This is kind of how I got to know you, was playing Dick Wild 2 with you.
Yeah, you were like, who is this guy? What the hell's he doing?
But really quickly before we go any further, Drillo says that the Blair Witch Flat is actually a different game
Oh, okay.
than the VR
Well, if
game.
that's the case, then it's not accessible, right?
Right. But you know what? I need to contact Bloober Team because I really want to play Observer System Redux in Helix Vision.
Hmm.
But I've been kind of holding out because there's been whispers that game might get VR support.
Ooh.
And Bloober Team does that. They did it with Layers of Fear. They did it with Blair Witch. They could absolutely do it with Observer as well. So I
Yeah.
need to ask them. I just need to flat out say, is it coming? Let me know if it's coming so I don't waste my time
Yeah, you don't want to slum it.
modding the one that just came out,
Yeah, absolutely. And Sion wants to know if there's a bow and arrow in Gauntlet. There is absolutely the one I use is the elf, and he has a bow and arrow. Or you're shooting arrows. But it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. How long is Dick Wild? I would say that this is either short or medium. Let's see what Google
I
says.
think it's fair. Well, it depends on who you're playing with. I mean, if you're playing with another person, it's going to be shorter, right? Look at that snake. Oh God, I never got to it.
How long is Dick Wild 2? Google.
Yeah, Dick Wild 1 is pretty freaking hard from what I heard, so that might be a little bit different case in the second one.
Dick Wild 2 is not a long game on first glance. While there are 33 levels, they generally... Hold on here. I gotta click into it to read the rest of it.
This is just a really good shooter. It's a wave shooter that disguises itself as not. I mean, because you're constantly, I mean, you're going through the same stuff, but you're going down the river. So
it says, while there are 33 levels, they generally take only 5 to 10 minutes to complete if you finish them on the first attempt. The longevity of the game comes from the fact that most levels will be needed to be attempted many times to actually finish them, and then replayed many times in order to advance through the progression.
I'd say we could probably get away with giving it 5 points, probably. I don't think it's going to be any longer than 6 hours, right?
I don't know. And this dude didn't say. I thought he was going to, but he didn't.
Nah,
and Google isn't giving me a straight answer on it.
He's teasing you, bro.
Well, yeah, I guess we'll just call it 5 points because I don't see anything here to contradict
if it just ends up being different, then we can adjust it, but on the fly together talking about it. But I think it looks like a 5 point to me, maybe.
All right, I'll agree with that. 5 points for Dick Wild 2. All right, very good. My number 8 is might be a surprise to some people that I actually put this on here, but I do want to see it out. The game has been dramatically modified since I played it, even though I did play fairly deep into it. The Walking Dead Onslaught. The Walking Dead Onslaught from Servios. Roots, I paid full price for this game on launch. I got to get something out of it, right?
Yeah, you need to at least finish it. This is probably the best way to get me to go into it. I am going to look for it on sale, but if now that it's on the list, I could see myself trying to play it, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's on sale on Steam or not, but it's definitely on sale on PlayStation right now for $20.
Well, I don't know about on Steam, but I've seen keys out there where I could get it for, I thought maybe $18 or something, but maybe I was a different game. Either way,
And
at
you know
some
what?
point,
I would say that this is worth $20. It's a fair $20 game. Again, it's not a terrible game. It was just a huge disappointment. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. How
So
long does it say it'll take?
I mean, if it was a terrible game, I wouldn't put it on my list here. I would just say, fuck that, and play something else. I would say that it's a medium game, but we'll see what Google says.
Google says you're fucked, bro. Oh wait, that's what they're telling us
Google
behind.
says, "Why are you asking me this? Well, you're not seriously going to buy that, are you?"
Yeah. Like, really? Onslaught? Are you sure you didn't mean to put Saints and Sinners? You could be Rick though.
Yeah, I know, right? Who doesn't want to be Rick?
I'm still baffled by the fact that they got every voice actor but him. I almost feel like you'd be better off to not have any of them. Maybe Daryl only, instead of having everybody but the main person in the series.
It's so funny too because, like any arcade game, it's got these voiceover parts that just repeat over and over again. And every time he bumps into a walker, he goes, "Oh, the walker's got me!" Just stuff like that, and it sounds so silly. The accent's terrible, and it's funny. It's comical, actually.
Yeah.
All right, it says it probably takes around 3 hours just to play through Daryl's story bits, but the thing is, you can't just play through Daryl's story
You got to
bits.
play
You
through
have to
everything.
unlock that. You have to unlock Daryl's story chapters by playing through the arcade spots. And
So probably what, double it? Or no?
Yeah, I would think so. I still contend. I think that this is going to take me longer than 6 hours to work through. I would call it a medium game.
Yeah.
But
sounds good. Well, and then other people will say, hey, it's not. But I mean, either way, it's not like I don't have the same things. You know what I mean? If it's easier for you or less time, it's less time for me too.
Yeah, I don't see myself beating this in 6 hours. Maybe it's just my gameplay style, but I think there's more game here than that. I think the 6 to 8 hours window is right where this is going to fit in.
Yep.
So since you are in agreement, we will call it 10 points.
Sounds good to me.
All right, coming down to it, Roots number 9.
Number 9. This is an oldie but a goodie. You can get it on sale every single time there's a Steam sale. One of the best deals on Steam, and at least the series. And this is Serious Sam. And I specifically picked number 3 because I think it's got some of the coolest fighting, in my opinion. And this is another one that is a great multiplayer that we've talked about playing through. And this is just so fast paced, so fun, and I want to play it. I want to win it. I want to beat it.
The definition of a boomer shooter in VR, right? This is what they're talking about when people use that new term, boomer shooter.
This is
fast paced.
This
insanity.
Is insanity. And what's cool is like the weapons are so huge on your hands and shit, man. It's just so cool. I like this game.
Yeah, it's fun to play, and you can progress through it very quickly. The only question is, how long is it? Like, you never get stuck on a level for too long. You can pretty much run through the game. But
I've gotten stuck on some levels pretty far in. But I look it up. I guarantee it's going to be fairly long.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is that there's a lot of levels to go through.
There's a lot of levels. Yeah. And there's so many times you get overwhelmed near once a lot of stuff's going on, because you get to the point where you've got 5, 6, 7, 8 different types of enemies using different types of weapons, and you're running around trying to collect ammo, and I mean there's a lot of facets to this game. Definitely, in my opinion, one of the best shooters in VR of this type. So, and this actually is a story. This is one where you progress through the story, which not every one of these games does. So
Yeah, intense intensity. This game. I mean, these people just they come at you, man. I mean, from all directions, screaming. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's one of my
Uh,
favorite parts is you can hear the bombers running up on you, and you know you need to start getting away. You know, so
this is we got varying lengths here. The main story about 10 hours. Main story plus extra 15 for an average of 12.
I'd say about 12. That sounds good. That's what, medium.
That's the top end of medium. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right. And then I concur. We'll call that 10 points. Serious Sam 3.
Well, we're rounding the bases here. We're almost home, and I wanted to use this opportunity to say, if you haven't already, I like your description in the YouTube. If you're reading down this far, you should have already clicked oh, that's not even up there. You should have already clicked the subscribe button, and then also thank all of you that are still here and watch them. What troopers you are! You're here. You're the hardcores that are going to be here for every minute. So
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and we're talking about old games. This is what people love, right? So you can tell who the enthusiasts are. They're still around, listening to us talk about these games we've already talked about.
these are the true strangers,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of games we've already talked about, I mean, is there another game that we've talked about more than my number 9? I don't think so. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Um, yeah, I mean, I've probably got 30 to 40 hours in this game. I have not beaten this game. And the reason why I have so many hours in it is because I've got it on Quest, I've got it on PlayStation VR, I've got it on PC VR. I've played through it as a good guy, I've played through it as a bad guy. I've played the first 3 quarters of this game over and over and over and over again, just like my other favorite game, the Resident Evil 7. Played it a bunch, just haven't finished it off,
Hmm.
haven't polished it off, and I'm going to do it this time. And now listen, this goes back to what I was talking about earlier. I know that there's a way to speed run this and beat it quickly. I'm not going to do that. That's not what we're doing here. We're going by average length. And I say if Onslaught's a 10-point game, that this is a 15-point game, that it's going to take me longer than 12 hours to play through it.
Yeah, I agree. And I just think it's cool that to play through this game again. Like you said, you've played it on different platforms. It's funny because there's some people out there that they complete games, and it would make no sense to them that you haven't finished this game. But it makes sense to me, because when you have a favorite game, favorite TV series, you almost don't want it to end. It's like as soon as you finish that game, there's been closure, and yeah, you'll go back. But right now, it's still a mystery. You don't know how the game's going to end, and it's a weird thing because you want to finish it, and then I run into this a lot. But part of you doesn't, because you want it to go on forever because it is your favorite or one of your favorites. But I think this is a game that I need to finish because I've gotten to the end. I did the wrong thing by mistake, and I couldn't live with what was going to happen, so I immediately shut it off. This is how stupid and much of a wuss that I am. I could not let it finish what was about to happen. I just couldn't, and that's a testament to storytelling, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This game probably should have won the storytelling award just for the diversity in the gameplay. I've probably started 6 or 8 different, games between all of the different platforms, and played the first at least 8 days in all of them, and I've taken slightly different approaches in all of them, and I've had fun every time because the gameplay has been different in pretty much every playthrough has been different in some way in either my approach or my decisions in which direction I want to go. So I mean, there's some of them where I'm on day 8 and I've barely progressed through like the main story path, but then there's other ones where I've played like 6 or 7 days and I'm already almost at the end because I was just completely cutthroat and evil and cut right through it.
That's crazy.
Uh, so very enjoyable this game and very uh it's got the kind of replayability that you don't see in story campaigns very often, just based on the nuances and the different variety and choices that you can make. But that said, I'm going to start this game and start to finish it. I'm not going to take the shortcut that anyone who has finished the game knows about. I'm going to play through it as a good guy, as or at least as a neutral. I'm not going to be evil
Mm.
and dick people over.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, Scion says, the second best game on all platforms. We just, oddly, we didn't pick Alex, either one of us this time, Scion. Maybe we'll get to Alex eventually, the second best, but we're talking about the best on all platforms,
right.
and that was Walking Dead Saints and Sinners.
Yeah, absolutely. I say 15 points for this one, Roots,
Yeah,
because I know it's going to take me that long.
I agree. Yeah,
At least I could see myself taking 20 hours to play this game easily, but
yeah.
we'll call it 15.
I don't think it would take me that long, but I'm like you. I wouldn't want to rush. I keep saying this, Wes, but I think the next time I go in here, I'm gonna be Daryl. I'm gonna be derail. I'm going to grab a bow and arrow, and or a crossbow, and I'm just gonna, you know,
Yeah,
Daryl it up.
yeah. It's fun, dude. It's fun, and I look forward to finally polishing this one off.
Yeah, absolutely.
I look forward to covering it too. This is a gameplay that I should have a full playthrough on my channel, just based on the old criteria by which I used to choose games for my channel. This one, if there were no virtual strangers, there would already be a full gameplay of this on my channel.
Absolutely.
Anyway, your 10th and final game of your initial list here, Roots, is a game that I seriously considered putting on mine as well.
Yeah. No, this one is one that we both were really impressed with it, and it just dropped at a time when all sorts of other things came right after. We played for a little bit and kind of moved on. And who doesn't want to be a wizard during dark times? I know I do. And this was actually really, as far as I progressed, I was blown away by just the different types of enemies that I ran into. And this is a really cool game that I didn't get enough gameplay in it, and I want to get good at it. So,
Yeah, I went deep into this one. Didn't finish it, but I went deep. And what I really like about this game, other than the very well implemented gesture based controls, I like the level variance in it. Like as you go from level to level, from realm to realm, uh, they look very different. Like your environments change up pretty dramatically, and so do the enemies.
hmm,
So it's the gameplay stays fresh as you make your way through it, and it's not that the original enemies necessarily go away, but they just keep adding new enemies to the mix.
yeah, that was a good one. Is one that I
Uh,
want to win.
off the top of my head, I'll bet you that Google says this is a short game. I would classify it as a medium game.
Yeah, I have no idea how long it is, but I agree that you're probably right.
Yeah, I would call this about an 8
Cool.
hour game to
Yeah,
me.
sounds good to me. So what? That's what 10 points.
10 points.
All
That is
right.
correct, sir. Silence says, "Have you guys beat Zing? It should be a substitution game." Um, I agree, and
It could be.
I assume by what you mean by substitution game is when we knock one off, we replace it.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. Zing is another one that's on my list. a very long list, and that's kind of the point of this whole thing. Is that Roots and I both have these friggin' giant list of games that we want to play through, and Zing is one of those for me. I haven't played it, but I've heard enough about it to know that I'm gonna dig it when I get into it.
You know
So
whose list it's not on because it's a puzzle game?
it's
This
not on
guy.
Roots'
This
list.
guy.
Supposed to be easy one though, Roots.
Well, it's different. It's not that it's easy. It's a different type of puzzle game, and I don't know. Anthony ruined it for me. I couldn't get past the beach. I sat down, I watched the sunset or whatever was going on, and I never moved on past it. But yeah, it definitely could be on a list in the future. Cyan, I agree.
Yeah, yeah. I've got a few puzzle games on my radar. I've got Zing, I've got Shadow Point, and I've got Static.
I almost put
And
Fisherman's Tale on there because I want you to try it, but I feel like you would
absolutely,
blow through it and take it from me. So,
yeah, yeah. Fisherman's Tale on the list, and Soul Axiom. I want
hmm,
to play all those.
yeah, cool.
All right, my 10th and final game, another one I'm on the verge of beating already, and I'm not going to feel one bit bad about restarting because it's such a good game. Probably one of the top two or three most immersive games I played in 2020, Phantom Covert Ops. And this one I feel like is right on that line of between short and medium. I think most people would agree it's a short game, and we probably should classify it as such, even though it'll probably take me 7 or 8 hours to finish it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a pretty short game, but definitely a good one, right? Definitely
Oh,
worth
dude,
playing
it's
through.
it's it's awesome. It's one of those games, like we mentioned before, like Freediver, that you really would like to see a larger scope in this universe, so that you feel like the 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 content that you have in this relatively short game should have probably been a few levels in a larger game that puts you on land, puts you inside buildings, instead of just in the boat the whole time. But for that said, I mean, absolutely innovative gameplay mechanics here. Um, One of the best stealth games I've ever played because I don't really like stealth as a genre, but when it's done right, it's great, and it's done right here.
Hmm.
And so many different aspects. I mean, it's got precision, long distance shooting, which I love. It's got a good story with world class voice acting. And then on top of all this, and it won't play into our competition, but it's got competitive aspects to it too, and online leaderboards and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a good pick. Definitely a game that I need to get back into now. I've got a reason for it, and it's cool.
Yeah, so we're calling this one 5 points. And speaking of online leaderboards, Roots, just so you and everybody else who's watching knows, I'm destroying all of you in Coaster Combat. Apparently, I'm a natural on this game, Roots, because like the first time I played it, I placed second on the leaderboard amongst all my friends. And the second time I played it, I took number one. So since then, I've just been going right down the line, taking top spot on the
Mm,
leaderboard. And
looks like I
I-
need
I'm
to get
halfway.
back to it.
I'm halfway through it now, and most of the time, I'm taking the top spot on my first attempt. Like the first time I play through a level, I'm number one.
So let me ask you
So
this: one, what do you think of it? And two, what do your kids think of it?
I haven't played it yet,
Okay.
but I'm going to put them in it, and I feel like the way to consume this game is to you should ride the tracks one time without shooting, because once you get into competitive shooting mode, you don't really appreciate the tracks for what they are. Like the tracks and the coasters are actually quite good
Well,
in
that's one
this
of the things
thing.
that's cool is you can actually do it. You don't even you could just there's a mode where it's just riding the roller coaster. So you don't even have to take the guns with you if you don't want to. And you're right. It's so amazingly gorgeous, like the fire level and all the different levels, and especially if you've cranked up the graphics, which I don't know if you've done that yet or not. It's a phenomenal game for such a cheap price. Definitely worth the price of admission, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's something that I don't do very often on the Oculus Quest. I never think to plug my headset in and jack it up to level 4 and turn up all of the rendering settings and stuff in it.
I only
to
did it.
make it.
I only did it because it was during the time when we were testing all that stuff, and that's when I was trying it. But it definitely made it look really, really good. Already looked amazing, and definitely a really good game, especially if you like roller coasters and shooting guns.
It's fun too. It's fun when you put it on hard level. That's when the shooting gets fun. It's kind of easy on easy level, but it's just right when you put it on hard. And yeah, I played 3 out of the 6 tracks on it,
Oh,
and
so you still got stuff to unlock. That's one of the my only gripes with the game is I want more tracks, but that's every game. I want more. I want more.
well, I think the tracks should be longer too. They're not very long. Like it's generally 2 or 3 minutes, and you're through it. I would like them to be 5 to 8 minutes long each, but
Yeah,
maybe
make
the later ones will be a little longer.
yeah, definitely make sure that make the waiting in line worth it, right? Nobody likes to wait in line for 2 hours and then get on a 1 minute ride.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. But anyway, the gauntlet's been thrown down. If you guys want your top spot back, I'm talking to you, Roots. I'm talking to you, PD, RJ Enigma. Come
Oh
and get
my
it, brother.
god,
I
dude!
just took your soul.
You just threw down the gauntlet to PD. It's
I
on.
did. I think you beat PD's scores in most cases.
I've spent a lot of time. I haven't been in there since the beginning, but I need to go back in now. That was one of my favorite games to I'll tell you what, Wes, I feel like I nailed it with the things that I really wanted to try, the games that I thought were going to be really good, like Star Wars Galaxies, that type of stuff. I had a couple of pretty good predictions when it came to what was going to be good for me anyway on the Quest. So
Yeah, yeah, and it's becoming quite the library, right? I mean, when you consider the exclusives that they have on there now, not to mention the mods and stuff. Uh, and with the Quest 2, the PC ports are even legit now. Like, Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, and I mean, just there's a laundry list of PC games that you can play on it now that are pretty close to the same experience as you get on PC.
yep,
So
absolutely.
it's an amazing platform, and again, I can't recommend it enough to people who are thinking about getting into VR. This is where you want to start at. Sure, the content library is deeper on both PlayStation and PC, but this one's making up ground all the time, and what it lacks in depth of library, it makes up for in so many different areas.
Yeah, being the main driving platform is one of them, right? Like all the developers are, this is the number one that they want to develop for. So
Yeah, and I think you're going to see it, the library kind of take off this year as we start to get some big name exclusives coming onto the platform, whether that be Resident Evil 4, whether that be Assassin's Creed VR or Splinter Cell VR. All this stuff's coming, and most likely it's all going to be Quest exclusive.
yep. Yeah, it's an exciting year for Quest owners, right?
Yep. It's an exciting year for VR, period. There's going to be good stuff in every category, and hopefully PlayStation included. But they'll have their days too. Like for example, in a couple of days when Hitman releases, that's going to be an amazing time for PlayStation VR.
Yeah. I'm jealous.
Well, more on that next week on the Monday show. What's up, Skiva? Skiva dropping by to say hello as we round out the Monday show 69. Did you like the episode? If so, give it a thumbs up down there. Again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell to stay up with all of our content. And once again, tons of content coming to our personal gameplay channels. Those are linked in the description. You want to be sure that you get in there and subscribe to those because this competition we just rolled out is going to make all the difference on those relatively dead channels. They're going to spring to life all of a sudden with just hours and hours of VR gameplay, and you're not going to want to miss it.
Absolutely.
Anyway, again, Discord invitation in the description. You can get us there all day, every day, talking about VR. Maybe you have a question, comment, or maybe you just want to say hello. You can do all that on the Discord. And for those of you who really want to do something to help take our channel to the next level, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon, where for as little as $3 a month, you can gain access to our weekly show notes as well as the always awesome Money Show.
Yep.
And I think that's going to wrap us up, friends.
Yeah.
Again, we'd like to thank you for watching, and for Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you soon. Bye now.
Take it easy.